stop being selfish. My pregnant sister needs a bigger room, my wife said, standing in my bedroom with her sister. She's moving in tomorrow. You'll stay in the garage apartment. Her sister's husband laughed. That night, stop being selfish. My pregnant sister needs a bigger room. The words hang in the air between us like smoke from a fire I didn't know was burning. My wife Jessica stands in the doorway of our bedroom. Our bedroom. The one with the California king bed I assembled myself 3 years ago. The mattress we spent 2 months researching. The Egyptian cotton sheets she insisted we needed. The room where morning light filters through gauze curtains she picked out during our first year of marriage, back when we'd wake up tangled together, her head on my chest, my fingers tracing lazy circles on her shoulder. That was before a lot of things. I'm realizing now. Jessica's sister, Monica, stands slightly behind her, one hand resting on the swell of her belly 7 months along, by my count, and the other holding her phone like it's a shield. Or maybe a weapon. She's scrolling through something, not even looking at me, which somehow makes this worse. The casual dismissal of it. Like my presence in my own bedroom is so inconsequential that she doesn't need to acknowledge it. You'll stay in the garage apartment, Jessica continues, her voice taking on that tone I've learned to recognize over our 4 years together. It's the voice she uses when she's already decided something, and any protest from me is just an annoying formality she has to endure. She's moving in tomorrow. We've already talked to Mark about bringing her stuff over in the morning. Mark, Monica's husband. I see him then, leaning against the hallway wall just outside the door, and he's laughing. Not loudly. Just this quiet, knowing chuckle that suggests he finds all of this amusing in a way I don't understand yet. He's a big guy, used to play college football. Never lets anyone forget it, and right now he's looking at me the way you'd look at a kid who just found out Santa isn't real. I'm standing in the middle of the bedroom again. My bedroom. In my house, holding a book I was about to read before bed. It's a biography of Ulysses S. Grant. I'm on the chapter about Shiloh, where Grant refused to retreat even when everything seemed lost. I think about that now. About standing your ground when the world is screaming at you to run. Wait, I say, and my voice sounds strange to my own ears, distant, like I'm listening to someone else speak. Wait, what? Jessica sighs. It's the sigh she gives when I don't understand something she thinks should be obvious. When I mix up her work friends' names or forget which drama happened in her book club. When I exist in a way that requires her to explain things. Monica needs space, David. She's pregnant, in case you haven't noticed. Jessica gestures to her sister, who finally looks up from her phone long enough to give me a small, apologetic smile that doesn't reach her eyes. She can't stay in that tiny apartment anymore. Mark's place is even smaller. And we have this huge house. That I bought, I say quietly. With plenty of room, Jessica continues, as if I haven't spoken. The garage apartment is nice. You fixed it up yourself. You're always saying how peaceful it is out there. This is true. I did fix up the garage apartment. It was one of my projects last summer, turning what had been a dusty storage space into a small studio with a kitchenette and bathroom. I'd imagined using it as a home office. Maybe a place to escape to when I needed quiet to work on the construction estimates that are my livelihood. The garage sits detached from the main house, connected by a covered walkway, about 30 feet of distance, far enough that you can't hear what's happening in the main house. I'd soundproofed it, proud of that detail at the time. Now I'm understanding what that distance might mean. This is my bedroom, I say, and I hate how weak it sounds. How uncertain. Like I'm asking permission rather than stating a fact. Our bedroom. Jessica, we sleep here. Together. It's just temporary, she says. But she won't meet my eyes when she says it. She's looking at a spot just over my left shoulder. At the wall where we hung our wedding photos. There are 5 of them in matching frames. Us at the altar. Us cutting the cake. Us dancing. Her head thrown back in laughter, me looking at her like she hung the moon. How temporary, I ask. Until she has the baby, and maybe a little while after, until she gets back on her feet. That's 6 months, I calculate quickly. Minimum. Monica, you're due in what? February? Monica nods, still with that apologetic smile. February 14th. Valentine's Day, baby. She says this like it's charming, like I should be delighted by this information. So 6 months, I repeat, probably more like 8 or 9, realistically, if she's staying until she gets back on her feet. What does that even mean? Jessica, this is, I stop myself. Take a breath. Try to find words that won't sound like what I'm really thinking. This doesn't make sense. Monica, you have a husband. Mark's standing right there. Why can't you stay with him? Mark pushes off the wall and enters the room. He's got maybe 4 inches on me and uses every bit of it now, standing too close, invading my space in that way men do when they want to remind you of physical hierarchies. My place is small, he says. 1 bedroom. And Monica needs to be comfortable. You got a problem with taking care of family? There it is. The frame. The trap. If I protest, I'm the one being unreasonable. I'm the one who doesn't care about family. Never mind that Monica and Mark have been married for 6 years and have had plenty of time to prepare for a baby. Never mind that they knew about the pregnancy for 7 months and are only now deciding that their living situation is unacceptable. Never mind that I'm being asked to leave my bedroom in my house to accommodate them. Never mind any of that. Where will you sleep? I ask Jessica. This is the question that matters most, though I'm afraid of the answer. In here, she says simply, Monica shouldn't be alone. She needs support, especially at night when the pregnancy discomfort is worst. I'll stay with her, help her if she needs anything. The air goes out of the room. Or maybe just out of my lungs. So we're not sleeping together, I say. For the next 6 to 9 months, don't be dramatic, Jessica says. But there's a hardness in her voice now. We're married. We live in the same house. We just won't be in the same bedroom for a while. People do this all the time. Lots of couples have separate bedrooms. Couples who choose that, I say, together, who make that decision mutually. I'm making it now, Jessica says. For us, for family. Because this is what good people do, David. They sacrifice. They put others first. Monica needs this. I look at Monica, trying to find something in her face. Guilt, maybe? Gratitude? Some acknowledgement that this is a massive ask? But she's back on her phone, scrolling again, one hand absently rubbing her belly. Like this is already decided and done and we're all just wasting time talking about it. When did you decide this? I ask. Does it matter? Jessica responds. Yeah, I say. It really does. She sighs again. Last week, Monica called me crying because Mark's apartment is so cramped and she's feeling claustrophobic and stress isn't good for the baby. I told her she could stay here. We have the room. You have the garage apartment. It makes sense. Last week. I repeat, you decided last week and you're telling me now. The night before she moves in. I didn't want to fight about it, Jessica says, and there's something almost honest in her voice for the first time in this conversation. I knew you'd make it difficult. Always, we have nut and crested. Make it difficult, like wanting a say in who lives in my house, in where I sleep, is some kind of character flaw. I look at the 3 of them standing in my bedroom. Jessica, with her arms crossed, defensive. Monica, with her phone and her belly, apologetic but determined. Mark, with his football player posture and his knowing laugh, amused by the whole thing. And I realize something that makes my stomach drop. This isn't a request. It was never a request. This is an announcement, a done deal. They're not here to ask my permission. They're here to inform me of what's going to happen. We already loaded most of her stuff in Mark's truck, Jessica says, confirming my suspicion. It's downstairs. We're just going to bring it up now and get her settled. The garage apartment is ready, right? You've been keeping it clean? I have been. I go out there sometimes when Jessica is doing her book club or when she has her sister over, which is most weekends. I'm realizing now, and I sit in the quiet and work on estimates or read. It's become a refuge, though I didn't think of it that way until right now. A place to escape to. I've got a comfortable chair out there, a small desk, a mini fridge. I keep stocked with beer and Coke, my own little space, which is about to become my entire space. Yeah, I say. It's ready. Great, Jessica says. And she actually smiles, relieved. Like I've just agreed to something instead of being steamrolled by it. I knew you'd understand. This is what makes you a good man, David. You put family first. She kisses my cheek. It's quick, perfunctory. The kind of kiss you give a child who's finally agreed to take their medicine. Then she's moving past me, Monica following, already talking about where furniture should go. Mark claps me on the shoulder as he passes, still with that laugh in his throat. Don't worry, man, he says. The garage apartment is nice. You'll barely notice the difference. Then they're gone, their voices fading as they head downstairs to start moving Monica in. Into my bedroom. Into my space. Into the life I thought I was building with my wife. I stand there for a long moment, still holding my Grant biography, looking at our bedroom, the curtains Jessica picked out. The duvet we argued about, she wanted something expensive and decorative. I wanted something practical and washable. She won. The nightstands we bought together at a furniture store in Portland, making a day of it, getting lunch after, her hand in mine. I look at our wedding photos on the wall. That moment at the altar when she'd said, I do, and I'd believed her. When I'd said it back and meant forever. I think about Grant at Shiloh again. About refusing to retreat. About standing your ground. But Grant had an army. Grant had supplies. Grant had support. I have a garage apartment. I walk downstairs and outside, following the covered walkway to the garage. The night air is cool late November in Oregon, the kind of cold that promises snow soon. The apartment is exactly as I left it last weekend. Clean, sparse, functional. A queen bed against one wall. My desk and chair. A small kitchenette. A bathroom with a shower stall. About 400 square feet of space. This is my home now, apparently. I sit in my chair and open the Grant biography, but I'm not reading. I'm listening to the sounds from the main house, footsteps, laughter, furniture moving. Monica's voice rising in excitement as she explores her new room, my room. Jessica never comes to check on me, never texts to ask if I'm okay, never calls to smooth things over or explain further, or apologize for the way this all went down. That night, I don't sleep. I lie in the queen bed that's too small and too hard and too far from everything that used to be mine, and I stare at the ceiling and think about scars. About how some wounds leave marks you can see and some leave marks you can only feel. About how you don't always know when something is ending until it's already ended. About how the worst betrayals are the ones that come dressed as love. That night is when everything changes, though I don't know it yet. That night is when I stop being the man who gets pushed around and start being the man who asks questions. Like, why now? Why this urgent? Why my bedroom specifically? Why is Mark laughing? That night is when I become the man who decides to find answers. And what I find will change everything. The garage apartment has thin walls. I discover this at 2:47 a.m. when I hear them laughing. Not from the main house, the soundproofing I installed actually works, which means I can't hear Jessica and Monica settling in, can't hear the intimate sister talk that's probably happening in what used to be my bedroom. No, the laughter is coming from outside, from the driveway. I get up, my body stiff from lying rigid on this unfamiliar mattress for hours, and move to the window. The blinds are the cheap kind, aluminum and bent in places, and through the slats, I can see Mark's truck still parked in the driveway. The interior light is on. Mark is in the driver's seat, and there's someone in the passenger seat. A woman, but not Monica. Even through the distortion of window glass and Venetian blinds, I can tell this woman is thinner, blonde where Monica is brunette. They're talking, animated. She touches his arm, and he leans closer, and they laugh again, and there's an intimacy to it that makes something cold settle in my chest. Mark has been married to Monica for 6 years. I've known him for 4, since Jessica and I got together. He's always been friendly in that surface-level way men are with their wives, sisters' husbands. We watch football together sometimes, drink beer at family barbecues, exchange the kind of jokes and observations that substitute for actual conversation. I don't know him well, I realize this now. I don't know him at all. The woman in his truck leans back and pulls out her phone. The screen illuminates her face, and I see she's young. Early 20s, maybe. She shows him something and he laughs. Again. Harder this time, his head thrown back. The laugh I heard earlier when he was standing in my bedroom. The same laugh. They sit like that for another 10 minutes, talking and laughing, while his pregnant wife is upstairs in my house, in my bedroom, being comforted by my wife. Finally, the woman opens the door and gets out. She's wearing scrubs, hospital scrubs, the kind with cartoon characters on them. Pediatric nurse, maybe, or dental hygienist. She walks away down the street, not to a car, just walking, and Mark watches her go. Even from here, I can see his eyes following her. When she's out of sight, he sits for another moment, then starts his truck and drives away. I stand at the window long after he's gone, processing what I saw. Maybe it's innocent. Maybe she's a coworker who needed a ride. Maybe the laughter was just friendly, the touching just casual. Maybe. But there's something about the timing that bothers me. The way Mark laughed in my bedroom, like he was in on a joke I didn't understand. The way he's out here at 3 a.m. with a woman who isn't his pregnant wife while that wife takes over my bedroom because his apartment is too small. I pull out my phone and open the Notes app. I title it Timeline and start writing. November 2 Night. Monica moves into master bedroom. Mark has unknown woman in truck at 2:47 a.m. It feels paranoid. It feels like I'm making something out of nothing, but I save it anyway. Sleep doesn't come. When dawn breaks that gray, hesitant Oregon dawn that leaks through clouds like a promise that might not be kept, I'm still awake, still dressed in yesterday's clothes, still turning over pieces of a puzzle I can't quite see yet. At 7:30 a.m., my phone buzzes. A text from Jessica. Can you make breakfast? Monica's craving pancakes, and we're out of mix. Not good morning. Not how did you sleep. Not I know last night was rough. Let's talk. Just make breakfast. I stare at the message for a long time. The old David, the David from yesterday, from a week ago, from 4 years of marriage would have said yes immediately, would have been grateful for the inclusion, for being needed, would have driven to the store and bought the pancake mix and made a whole spread, hoping that service would translate to appreciation, to love, to being welcomed back into the space I was pushed out of. That David is tired. That David spent the night on a too-hard mattress in a garage apartment, watching his brother-in-law laugh with strange women at 3 a.m. I text back, garage apartment doesn't have a full kitchen, just a kitchenette. Can't really make pancakes here. 3 dots appear, disappear, appear again, then come to the main house and make them in the real kitchen? The real kitchen, as opposed to my fake kitchen, my lesser kitchen, my garage kitchen. I have work, I text back, which is true. I have 3 estimates to finish for a commercial project downtown. Deadline is Monday. It's Saturday, she responds. Construction doesn't stop for weekends. More dots. Then, fine, I'll figure it out. No I love you. No have a good day. Just the subtle accusation in I'll figure it out, meaning I'm making her life harder by not doing what she wants. I shower in the tiny stall. The water pressure weak. The space so small my elbows hit the walls when I try to wash my hair. I dress in clean clothes from the bag I hastily packed last night. Jeans, a flannel shirt, work boots, the uniform of my profession. I look at myself in the mirror above the sink, and there's a stranger looking back. Same face I've had for 32 years. Same dark hair that needs cutting. Same blue eyes that Jessica once said reminded her of water. But something's different. Something's harder. I look like a man who slept in a garage. I look like a man who's starting to see things clearly. I grab my laptop and go to the small cafe 3 blocks away, the one I used to go to on Sunday mornings before Jessica started sleeping in later and later. Before our Sunday mornings together became just my Sunday mornings alone. The cafe is called Grounds for Thought, and it's run by a woman named Diane who knows her regulars' orders by heart. David, she says when I walk in, surprised. Saturday today. You usually come Sundays. Needed to get out early. I say. The usual, please. She makes my coffee large Americano, splash of cream, and I settle into a corner booth with my laptop. I open the 3 estimates I'm supposed to be working on, but my mind won't focus. Instead, I find myself opening a browser and typing, "Signs your wife is having an affair." I feel ridiculous even as I do it. Jessica isn't having an affair. She's just distant, preoccupied. Has been for months, actually, now that I think about it. Since summer, maybe? Since July or August. I'd attributed it to stress at work. She's a marketing manager for a tech startup downtown, always juggling campaigns and deadlines. I'd tried to be understanding, tried to give her space. Maybe I gave her too much. The search results are depressingly generic. Sudden changes in appearance, secretive phone behavior, emotional distance, accusing you of cheating, picking fights, spending more time away from home. I go through the list mentally. Jessica hasn't changed her appearance. She's always been beautiful, always taken care of herself. Her phone behavior. I realize I don't know. She's always on her phone. Has been since I met her. Is she more secretive about it now? I can't tell. Emotional distance? Yes. Definitely yes. But that could be explained by stress, by life, by the natural evolution of a marriage past the honeymoon phase. Picking fights. Has she been picking fights? I think back over the past few months. September, when I wanted to go to my company's annual dinner, and she said she was too tired, that I should go alone. I'd been disappointed but understanding. October, when I suggested a weekend trip for our anniversary, and she said money was tight, we should save it, even though I'd gotten a bonus from a big project. November, 2 weeks ago, when I asked if she wanted to go see a movie, and she snapped at me that she wasn't a child who needed to be entertained, that she could occupy herself. Small things, tiny fissures, the kind you don't notice when you're in the middle of them, the kind that add up. I close the tab, feeling dirty for even looking. This isn't who I am. I'm not the suspicious husband. I'm not the guy who goes looking for problems, except problems found me. Problems moved into my bedroom and sent me to the garage. I text my best friend, Cole. We met in college, stayed close even after I dropped out junior year to help my dad with his construction company after his heart attack. Cole went on to become a lawyer, corporate law, the boring kind that pays well. He married his high school sweetheart, Sarah, and they have 2 kids and a house in the suburbs, and the kind of stable, peaceful life that looks like a stock photo. You around today? I text. He responds within minutes. Watching soccer practice. What's up? Need to talk. In person. That sounds ominous. Everything okay? Honestly, I don't know. Starbucks on Morrison in an hour? See you there. Cole shows up in dad uniform, khakis, a quarter-zip fleece, sneakers that have seen better days. He's carrying a travel mug of coffee and wearing the slightly frazzled expression of a man who spent his morning wrangling 8-year-olds on a soccer field. All right, he says, sliding into the seat across from me. What's going on? You look like hell. Didn't sleep. I say, I got that from your text. What happened? I tell him, all of it. The announcement in the bedroom, the casual dismissal, the garage apartment, Mark's laugh, the woman in the truck at 3 a.m., Jessica's text about pancakes. Every detail spills out like I've been holding my breath for 12 hours and finally have permission to exhale. Cole listens without interrupting, his lawyer face, on the one where he's processing information, categorizing it, building a case in his mind. When I finish, he's quiet for a long moment. Okay, he finally says. Let me make sure I understand. Your wife kicked you out of your bedroom, in your house, with less than 24 hours' notice to accommodate her sister who has a husband with his own place. Yes, and when you protested, you were made to feel like you were being selfish and unreasonable. Yes, and this decision was made a week ago, but you're only being told now. Correct. And Mark Monica's husband thinks this is funny. He was laughing, in my bedroom, like it was all a joke. Cole leans back, running a hand through his hair. David, I'm going to ask you something, and I want you to really think about it before you answer. Okay, how long has Jessica been treating you like you don't matter? The question lands like a physical blow. I open my mouth to protest, to defend her, to explain that it's not like that she's just stressed, that marriage is hard work and this is just a rough patch. But nothing comes out, because he's right, and I've known it. I've known it for months, maybe longer. I just haven't wanted to see it. This isn't about the bedroom, Cole says quietly. The bedroom is just the most obvious symptom. This is about respect, about partnership, about whether you have a say in your own life. David, does Jessica ask your opinion on anything anymore? Does she consult you on decisions? Does she treat you like an equal partner or like an obstacle to be managed? I think about the bedroom decision, about the anniversary trip that didn't happen, about the company dinner I attended alone, about the 1,000 small moments where I've felt like I was asking permission to exist in my own life. She doesn't, I say, and hearing it out loud makes it real in a way thinking it never did. So the question is, Cole says, what are you going to do about it? I don't know. Well, here's what you're not going to do. You're not going to ignore this. You're not going to pretend everything's fine. You're not going to make yourself smaller and smaller, hoping that if you just accommodate enough, give enough, sacrifice enough, she'll suddenly value you again. Because that's not how this works. You think she's cheating, I say. It's not a question. Cole sighs. I think something's going on. Maybe it's an affair. Maybe it's something else. But people don't just suddenly discard their partners for no reason. There's something you're not seeing, and you need to figure out what it is. How? Start paying attention. Really paying attention. Not to what she says, but to what she does. To patterns. To changes. To the things that don't add up. He pauses. And David, trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. We sit there for a while longer, talking about nothing and everything, about his kids and their latest soccer drama, about a case he's working on, normal things, anchoring things. When we part ways, he hugs me, a real hug, the kind men give each other when words aren't enough. Call me, he says, anytime. I mean it. Thanks. And David? Move your money. I blink. What? Your money. Separate it. Get your own account if you don't have one. Make sure you have access to cash and assets. Just protect yourself. I've seen too many divorces start exactly like this, with one partner being slowly pushed out of their own life. By the time they realize what's happening, they've got nothing left. We're not getting divorced, I say automatically. Cole just looks at me. I hope you're right, but hope isn't a strategy. Protect yourself. I drive home, except it's not home anymore, is it? It's the main house where my wife lives with her sister, and I live in the garage. Mark's truck is back in the driveway. I check the time. 11:47 a.m. I add to my notes, Mark's truck in driveway, 11:47 a.m. was gone earlier. When did he leave? Why is he back? I park my own truck, a beat-up Ford F-150 that's seen better days, but runs like a dream next to his shiny Chevy Silverado. His has custom rims and a lift kit, and probably cost twice what mine did. Mark works in sales for a pharmaceutical company. Makes good money, apparently. Good enough for a truck like that. But not good enough for an apartment, big enough for his pregnant wife. I sit in my truck for a moment, watching the main house. Through the kitchen window, I can see movement. Shadows of people moving around. I should go in, should check on Jessica, on Monica. Should try to smooth things over. To be the good husband, the supportive brother-in-law. Instead, I go to the garage apartment. I add more to my timeline. Questions. Why is Monica's pregnancy suddenly an emergency? She's been pregnant for 7 months. Why is their apartment suddenly too small? When did they start looking for alternatives? Why specifically my bedroom and not, say, the guest room downstairs? Why does Jessica need to sleep with Monica instead of with me? Why is Mark so amused by all this? I stare at the questions. They feel paranoid. They feel like I'm creating problems where there aren't any. But then, I remember Mark's laugh. The woman in his truck. Jessica's complete lack of concern for how I felt about any of this. I remember Cole's question. How long has Jessica been treating you like you don't matter? And I realize, these aren't the wrong questions. These are exactly the right questions. I just need to find the answers. Sunday morning arrives with rain. The kind of November rain that Oregon specializes in. Not dramatic, not violent, just persistent. A gray curtain between the world and the sky, blurring everything, making distances seem greater than they are. 30 feet between the garage, apartment, and the main house might as well be 30 miles. I wake at 6 a.m. because my body doesn't know how to sleep past that anymore. 20 years of construction work will do that to you. Train you to wake with the sun, even when there is no sun. Especially when there's no sun. The garage apartment is cold. I'd turned the heat down before this whole thing started, back when I only used this space occasionally, back when I had a bedroom with central heating, and a wife who sometimes rarely, but sometimes still curved her body against mine in sleep. I make coffee in the small Keurig I bought for out here. The machine sputters and hisses, and I watch through the window as lights come on in the main house. Kitchen first, then the living room. Then upstairs my bedroom, where Jessica is sleeping next to her sister, where Monica is probably just waking up, stretching in my bed, in my space. My phone buzzes. Church at 10. Monica wants to go. You coming? Jessica and I haven't been to church since our wedding. We got married in a church because her mother insisted, because it was important to family, because it made for beautiful photos. But afterwards, nothing. Jessica slept in on Sundays. I went to the cafe. We lived our secular lives without judgment or guilt. But now Monica wants to go, and suddenly we're a church family. I text back, didn't know we were doing that. Monica is. We're going with her. She shouldn't be alone. She has a husband. The 3 dots appear, disappear, appear again. Finally, Mark has to work. On a Sunday. Mark has to work on a Sunday. Mark, who works in pharmaceutical sales, who makes his own schedule, who I've never once heard mention working weekends. I add it to my notes. I'll pass. I text. Have work to finish. No response. Just the read receipt. That little check mark that says she saw it and decided I wasn't worth replying to. I watch them leave at 9:45. Jessica drives. She's always driven when they go anywhere together. Says Monica gets carsick in the passenger seat. They're in Jessica's white Acura, the one we bought together 2 years ago, the one I make half the payments on even though my name isn't on the title. It's easier for insurance, Jessica had said. Just one name. We're married. It doesn't matter whose name is on what. I'd believed her. I'd believed a lot of things. They drive away and I give it 5 minutes. Watching the empty driveway. The rain making everything shimmer and blur. Then I go to the main house. I use my key, I still have a key that hasn't been taken from it yet, and step into the kitchen. It smells like coffee and something sweet. Cinnamon rolls, maybe. The expensive kind from the bakery that Jessica likes, not the Pillsbury ones I grew up with. The kitchen is a mess. Dishes in the sink, crumbs on the counter, an empty container of orange juice left out. Jessica hates messes. She's always been meticulous about cleaning as you go, about putting things away immediately. But here's evidence that Monica doesn't share that trait, and Jessica is apparently fine with it, or too distracted to notice. I move through the house quietly, even though I know I'm alone. Old habits. The living room looks the same couch where we used to watch movies together, same coffee table with the stack of interior design magazines Jessica never reads but likes having out, everything in its place. Upstairs. My footsteps sound too loud on the hardwood. I pause at the top of the stairs, looking at the closed door of what used to be my bedroom. Our bedroom. I open it. The room has been transformed. Where my nightstand used to be, there's now a changing table already assembled, already stocked with diapers and wipes and creams. Where our dresser was the one we bought at an estate sale, solid oak, beautiful, there's now a crib, also assembled, also ready. They didn't just move Monica in. They redecorated. They prepared a nursery in less than 2 days, which means these things were already bought, already planned. They'd just been waiting for the right moment to bring them in, to transform my bedroom into Monica's space, waiting for me to be pushed out. I stand there, taking it in. The crib is expensive, I know, because Jessica and I looked at cribs once, early in our marriage, when we still talked about maybe having kids someday. This is the brand she'd pointed out, the one that cost $800. Someday, she'd said, when we're ready. Apparently, Monica is ready. The changing table matches the crib, probably another $400. The rocking chair in the corner new, still has the tag tucked under the cushion, at least $300. I do the math in my head, $1,500 minimum in furniture, probably closer to $2,000 with all the accessories and decorations. The walls have been painted a soft yellow that wasn't there before. When did that happen? How did I not notice? Then I realize, the smell. When I came home Friday night, before the bedroom announcement, the house had smelled like paint. I'd noticed it vaguely, filed it away as Jessica doing some project. I hadn't asked, hadn't investigated. I'd been so well trained not to question, not to pry, not to make things difficult. I pull out my phone and take pictures. The crib, the changing table, the painted walls, the rocking chair, all of it. I don't know why exactly, but Cole's words from yesterday echo in my head. Pay attention to what she does, not what she says. She said this was sudden, that Monica needed space urgently, that it was temporary. But this room says permanent. This room says planned. I moved to Jessica's nightstand, the one on what used to be her side of the bed, now pushed against the wall to make room for the crib. I opened the drawer. This is a violation. I know this. I've never gone through Jessica's things, never snooped, never questioned her privacy. But I'm standing in a nursery that used to be my bedroom, and nothing makes sense anymore, and I need answers. The drawer contains the usual things: hand lotion, a sleep mask, earplugs, a book about mindfulness. She's been reading for 6 months. Receipts, lots of receipts. I pull them out. Baby furniture, all purchased in September, 2 months ago. Paint supplies, also September. A receipt from a fertility clinic in Portland, August. I stare at that one for a long time. Cascade Reproductive Health. I Google it on my phone. It's a fertility clinic, yes, but they also do genetic testing, prenatal screening, family planning consultations. The receipt is for a consultation. Monica's name is on it, and Jessica's name is on it too. As the person who paid, Jessica paid for Monica's fertility consultation. In August, 3 months into Monica's pregnancy. Why would Monica need a fertility consultation when she was already pregnant, unless the consultation wasn't about getting pregnant? I take pictures of the receipts, all of them. My hands are shaking slightly, and I'm not sure if it's anger or fear or just the adrenaline of doing something I know I shouldn't be doing. I check the other drawers, find more receipts. A lease agreement, Mark's apartment, the one that's supposedly too small. I photograph it. The apartment is actually a 2-bedroom. Not huge, but not the tiny 1-bedroom they claimed. And the lease doesn't end until March. So why is Monica here in November, if their lease doesn't end for 4 more months? More photographs, more questions. I move to the closet. My clothes are still here, shoved to one end, compressed, barely any space, but they're here. Jessica's clothes take up most of the closet now, but there's a section I don't recognize. Designer maternity clothes. Tags still on some of them. Expensive brands. Nordstrom. Bloomingdale's. More receipts in the closet, tucked in a shoebox. I go through them methodically, photographing each one. Maternity clothes purchased in July, before Monica would have been showing much. A receipt from a real estate agent, dated October, for a consultation about property division in separation. My blood goes cold. Property division. Separation. I read it again to make sure I'm understanding correctly. It's a receipt for services rendered, paid by Jessica, for a 2-hour consultation about how to divide property when a married couple separates. October, last month. While I was working 60-hour weeks on the downtown project, while I was coming home tired and trying to be a good husband, Jessica was consulting with a real estate agent about how to divide our property when we separate. Not if, when. I take pictures with hands that have moved past shaking into something else. Something numb. There's more. A folder tucked in the back of the closet, hidden behind shoeboxes. I pull it out and open it. Inside, printouts about tenant rights in Oregon, about how to establish someone as a tenant in your home, about eviction processes and timelines, about how once someone has lived in your home for 30 days, they're considered a tenant and you can't just kick them out. You have to go through a formal eviction process, which can take months. Monica moved in Friday night. 30 days from Friday would be just before Christmas. I sit down on the floor, on the carpet that we picked out together, that we had installed during our second year of marriage, and I look at the evidence spread around me, receipts and printouts and lease agreements and consultation fees, and I understand. This isn't about Monica needing space. This isn't about pregnancy discomfort or a too small apartment. This is a plan, a carefully orchestrated plan. Get Monica into the house, keep her there for 30 days, establish her as a tenant, make it impossible to remove her without a lengthy legal process. But why? Why go through all this? Why not just ask for a separation if that's what Jessica wants? Why the elaborate setup? I think about Cole's advice. Move your money. Protect yourself. I pull out my phone and check our bank accounts, the ones I have access to anyway. Our joint checking account has less in it than I remember. Our savings account, the one where we keep our emergency fund, is nearly empty. There should be close to $15,000 in there. Now there's less than $1,000. Where did the money go? I check the transaction history. Transfers, large ones, to an account I don't recognize. Started in September. Small at first, 500 here, 1,000 there, then bigger, 2,000, 3,000. The last one, dated 3 days ago, $4,000. Jessica has been systematically draining our savings account and moving the money somewhere I can't see it. I take screenshots of everything. My personal checking account, the one from before we were married, the one I kept because my dad always told me to maintain some independence, is still intact. Jessica never asked to be added to it, and I never offered. At the time, it seemed like keeping something separate was somehow a failure of trust, of commitment. Now I'm grateful for my father's old-fashioned wisdom. There's about $8,000 in there. My last paycheck, plus the bonus from the downtown project. I open a new browser tab and search for divorce lawyers in Portland. Then I close it. I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not ready to admit that's where this is going. But I take more pictures. I document everything. The nursery, the receipts, the lease agreement, the bank transfers, the real estate consultation, all of it. When I'm done, I put everything back exactly as I found it. I close drawers. I straighten shoeboxes. I make sure there's no evidence that I was here, that I know what I know. Then I go back downstairs and out the front door and return to the garage apartment through the rain. I sit at my small desk and I organize the photos into folders on my laptop. I title them by date and category. I create a timeline, detailed and precise. August, Jessica pays for Monica's fertility consultation. September, large purchases begin: nursery furniture, maternity clothes. Money transfers start from savings. October, Jessica consults with real estate agent about property division. November 22, Monica moves into master bedroom. I move to garage apartment. I stare at the timeline, at the pattern. This has been planned for at least 3 months, probably longer, but I still don't understand why. What's the end game? What do they get out of this? My phone buzzes. We're having lunch after church. We'll be home around 2. No. Do you want to join us? No. Would you like to come? Just a statement of fact. An informational update about her schedule. I don't respond. Instead, I text Cole, "Found some things. Need to talk. You free tonight?" His response is immediate. "Sarah's taking the kids to her mom's. Come over at 6. I'll order pizza. Thanks, David. Whatever you found, be careful. Don't confront anyone until we've talked." I won't. I spend the afternoon organizing evidence, creating backups, uploading everything to a cloud storage account Jessica doesn't know about, making sure that even if my laptop disappears, even if my phone gets taken, I still have access to what I've found. At 1:58, Jessica's Acura pulls into the driveway. I watch from the garage apartment window as they get out. Monica moves slowly, one hand on her belly, and Jessica hovers next to her like a mother hen. Protective, solicitous, more attentive than I've seen her be in months. They go inside and I wait for a text, an invitation to join them, a request for help with groceries or bags or anything. Nothing comes. I'm 30 feet away, and I might as well be on another planet. At 5:30, I leave for Cole's house. I take my laptop. I take my phone. I take printouts of the most damning evidence, just in case. The rain has intensified, coming down in sheets now, and the wipers on my truck struggle to keep up. The world outside is gray and blurred and uncertain. Inside my head, inside my chest, everything is becoming very, very clear. My wife is planning something, has been planning it for months, and I'm just now seeing it. Just now understanding that I'm not a husband in this scenario. I'm an obstacle to be removed. The question is, removed from what? And the answer, I'm starting to suspect, is going to change everything. Cole's house is in the suburbs, a 20-minute drive from my place when traffic is light. Tonight it takes 30 because of the rain, because visibility is poor, because I'm driving cautiously with evidence that could upend my life sitting on the passenger seat. The neighborhood is the kind you see in commercials for minivans and life insurance. Neat lawns, even in November. Houses with warm lights in the windows and wreaths already on the doors because Christmas starts early when you have kids. 2-car garages and basketball hoops and the occasional forgotten bicycle lying in a driveway. Normal life. Stable life. The kind of life I thought I was building. Cole opens the door before I can knock, like he's been watching for me. He's changed out of his dad uniform into sweatpants and a college hoodie, his standard at-home outfit. Sarah and the kids are gone. I can tell by the quiet, by the absence of the cheerful chaos that usually fills this house. "Come in," he says. "You look worse than you did yesterday." Feel worse than yesterday. He leads me to his home office, a converted bedroom with built-in bookshelves full of law books and framed degrees on the walls. His desk is large and organized. The desk of someone who deals in details, in evidence, in the kind of precision that determines outcomes. "Sarah made cookies before she left," he says, gesturing to a plate. "Chocolate chip. Help yourself. And I've got beer in the mini fridge, or coffee if you prefer." "Beer," I say. "Definitely beer." He pulls out 2 bottles, some craft IPA I don't recognize, and hands me one. We sit, him behind his desk, me in the leather chair across from it. For a moment, we're not old friends. We're lawyer and client. The shift in dynamic is subtle but present. "All right," Cole says. "Show me what you found." I open my laptop and pull up the organized folders. I've labeled everything clearly: financial records, receipts, documents, photos. I start with a timeline, walking him through each discovery in chronological order. The fertility clinic consultation in August. The furniture purchases in September. The money transfers from our savings account. The real estate consultation in October. The lease agreement showing Mark's apartment is actually a 2-bedroom. The printouts about tenant rights and eviction processes. Cole doesn't interrupt. He takes notes on a legal pad, his handwriting tight and controlled. When I finish, he sits back and runs a hand over his face. "Okay," he says. "Let me make sure I have this straight. Your wife has been planning this for at least 3 months. She's spent thousands of dollars preparing a nursery in your bedroom. She's drained your joint savings account. She's consulted with a real estate agent about property division. She's researched tenant laws. And she's moved her sister into your house, into your bedroom specifically, with the apparent goal of establishing her as a legal tenant. That's what it looks like to me." "David," Cole leans forward, "this isn't just marital problems. This is a strategic plan. This is someone who's been preparing to either divorce you or force you out of your own house, or both, and who's been building a legal and financial framework to do it." Hearing him say it makes it real in a way that even seeing the evidence didn't. My hands tighten around the beer bottle. The question is why? Cole continues. Why go through all this elaborate setup instead of just asking for a divorce? Why the secrecy? Why establish Monica as a tenant? What's the goal here? I don't know. Well, let's think it through. In Oregon, you're in a community property state, sort of. Oregon is actually an equitable distribution state, which means marital assets get divided fairly, not necessarily 50-50. The house is it in both your names? Just mine, I say. I bought it before we got married. Used money my dad left me when he died. Cole's eyebrows rise. So, it's your separate property. Technically, she has no claim to it in a divorce, unless she can prove she contributed to its value, or unless the court decides to award her some interest in it for equitable reasons. She hasn't contributed financially. I pay the mortgage from my account. She pays for her car and her personal expenses from her salary. Do you have documentation of that? Bank statements showing you alone pay the mortgage? Yes. Everything goes through my personal checking account, the one she's not on. Good. That's good. Cole makes more notes. So if you're getting divorced, the house is yours. Your separate property, acquired before marriage, maintained separately during marriage. She might argue for some compensation for improvements or something, but the house itself stays yours. Okay. But here's the thing, David. If she knows that, and given that she consulted with a real estate agent, she probably does know that, then why move Monica in? Why establish her as a tenant? Why do all this? We sit with that question. The rain pounds against the window, a steady rhythm that sounds like static, like white noise, like the sound of things falling apart. Unless, Cole says slowly, the goal isn't to get the house. The goal is to make it impossible for you to keep it. What do you mean? Think about it. You can't kick Monica out once she's a legal tenant. That takes months, formal eviction proceedings. And if Monica refuses to leave, if she fights the eviction, it could take even longer, 6 months, maybe more. And during that entire time, you're stuck. You can't sell the house. Who's going to buy a house with a tenant who won't leave? You can't live in it comfortably. You're in the garage. They're in the main house. You can't move on with your life. You're trapped in this holding pattern. Paying a mortgage on a house you can't fully use. Dealing with the stress and expense of eviction proceedings. I feel sick. So the point is to make my life so difficult that I just give up? Walk away? Or sell at a loss? Or settle for less than the house is worth just to be done with it? And if you do that, if you sell or refinance or do anything with the property, Jessica could argue she's entitled to a portion of the proceeds because her actions, her sister living there, affected your decisions about the property. That's insane. That's strategy, Cole says. And David, it's working. You're already displaced. You're already living in the garage. You're already stressed and uncertain and looking for a way out of this situation. That's exactly where they want you. They, I repeat. You think Monica's in on this? You think this is both of them working together? Look at the evidence. Monica's husband has an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment where they could both live. But instead, Monica moves into your bedroom and Mark stays in his place. Why? What does Mark get out of this arrangement? I think about Mark's laugh, about the woman in his truck at 3 a.m., about how he's supposedly working on Sundays when he never has before. Freedom, I say quietly. He gets freedom. His wife is somewhere else, being taken care of by someone else. He can do whatever he wants. Exactly. And what does Monica get? Free housing, her sister's constant attention and care, someone else paying the bills while she prepares for her baby. And what does Jessica get? What does Jessica get? I ask, because I honestly don't know. Cole pulls up the photos of the bank transfers on my laptop. Where do you think this money is going? The transfers from your savings account? I don't know. I can't see the receiving account, but we can find out. These are electronic transfers. They leave a trail. With the right legal tools, we can trace where this money went. He pauses. David, I need to ask you something. Is there any possibility Jessica has been having an affair? The question doesn't surprise me. I've been thinking it since yesterday, since Cole first asked how long Jessica had been treating me like I didn't matter. I don't know. I admit, I've been so focused on work, on trying to be a good husband, on not making waves. I haven't been paying attention to the signs. Tell me about her behavior over the past few months. Any changes? I think back. She's been distant since the summer, less interested in spending time together, more time on her phone. She started working out more, joined a gym in August. New clothes, more attention to her appearance. I thought she was just taking care of herself, having her own interests. I didn't want to be the controlling husband who questioned everything. Those are classic signs, David. New gym membership, new clothes, increased phone use, emotional distance. I'm not saying she definitely is having an affair, but it's a real possibility. If she is, I say, what does that have to do with Monica moving in? Cole taps his pen against his legal pad. Maybe nothing. Maybe everything. Maybe Monica moving in is cover. If Jessica is seeing someone, having her sister in the house gives her an excuse to be distracted, to be unavailable, to sleep separately from you. Monica needs me is a perfect shield against any questions about why she's not present in your marriage. Or, I say, following the logic, Monica moving in is preparation for when Jessica asks for a divorce. Having her sister already established in the house gives her emotional support, maybe even financial support if they're splitting expenses somehow. Both could be true, Cole says. This could be a multi-layered plan, affair, property strategy, financial preparation, emotional support system, all working together. I drain the rest of my beer. Cole gets up and grabs 2 more from the mini fridge without asking. Here's what we're going to do, he says, settling back into his chair. First, you're going to keep documenting everything. Every interaction, every expense, every weird behavior. Keep a journal, date and time, everything. Second, we're going to get you a divorce attorney. Not me. I do corporate law. But I know people. Good people. We'll get a consultation set up this week. I'm not ready to file for divorce. You don't have to be ready to file to talk to a lawyer. You need to understand your rights and your options. You need to know what you're looking at legally. Knowledge is power, David. And right now, you're operating blind. He's right. I know he's right. Third, Cole continues, we need to find out what's in that receiving account, where your money is going. I have a friend who's a forensic accountant. She's helped me on cases before. I'll reach out, see if she can help track these transfers. Is that legal? Can we do that? It's your money, from your joint account. You have every right to know where marital funds are being transferred. If Jessica has a problem with that, well, that tells us something too. What else? Check your credit report. Make sure Jessica hasn't opened any cards or loans in your name. I've seen that happen more times than I'd like to admit. Also, change your passwords. All of them. Bank accounts, email, everything. If she has access to your accounts, she can monitor what you're doing. You need privacy to protect yourself. I hadn't even thought of that. The idea that Jessica might be reading my emails, checking my bank activity, monitoring my movements digitally, it seems paranoid. But then again, 3 days ago, the idea that she'd been planning this for months seemed paranoid too. There's something else, I say. Mark. His truck was in the driveway at 3 a.m. Saturday morning with another woman in it. Blonde, young, wearing scrubs. They were laughing, talking for like 15 minutes. She walked away. He drove off. Cole's expression darkens. You got a photo? No. I didn't think to. I just watched from the window. If you see it again, photograph it. Everything. The truck, the woman, the time. Because if Monica's husband is cheating, and that's what it sounds like, that's leverage. That's information Monica might not know. And if this whole thing is a coordinated effort between Jessica and Monica, cracks in Monica's marriage could change the dynamics. You want me to spy on Mark? I want you to protect yourself. And if that means documenting Mark's extracurricular activities, then yes. David, you're fighting a battle you didn't know you were in. They've been preparing for months. You've got to catch up fast. We spend the next 2 hours going through every detail, every piece of evidence, every possible interpretation. Cole makes calls while I'm there to the divorce attorney, leaving a message requesting a consultation for his friend. To the forensic accountant, explaining the situation in broad strokes and getting a commitment that she'll look into it. By the time I leave, it's nearly 10 p.m. The rain has stopped, but the streets are still wet. reflecting streetlights and headlights in rippling patterns. Cole walks me to my truck. "David," he says, "I need you to prepare yourself for the possibility that this gets ugly. If Jessica has been planning this long, if she's moved money, if she's setting up Monica as a tenant, if there's an affair involved, this is someone who's willing to go to significant lengths to get what she wants. And people like that don't usually back down when confronted." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying don't confront her yet. Not until we know more. Not until you have a lawyer and a plan. Right now, you have an advantage. You know what she's doing, and she doesn't know that you know. Don't give that up until you're ready to use it." How do I act normal? How do I just pretend everything's fine when I know all this? Cole grips my shoulder. "You do it because you have to, because playing along right now is what keeps you safe and keeps your options open. Can you do that?" I think about going back to the garage apartment, about waking up tomorrow and going through the motions, about smiling and being civil and acting like I don't know that my wife has been systematically planning to destroy my life. I can do it, I say. Good. I'll call you tomorrow with updates. In the meantime, act normal. Be the David you've always been. Don't give them any reason to suspect you're on to them. I drive home through empty streets. The city looks different at night, especially after rain. Cleaner, somehow. The water washes away the daily grime and leaves everything looking renewed, like a fresh start is possible. But I know better now. I know that some stains don't wash away. Some betrayals are too deep to rinse clean. The garage apartment is dark when I arrive. The main house has lights on living room and bedroom. My bedroom, where my wife is probably already in bed, maybe reading, maybe scrolling through her phone, maybe texting someone I don't know about. I park and sit in my truck for a moment, looking at those lit windows, thinking about the woman behind them, the woman I married, the woman I thought I knew. I think about our wedding vows, for better or worse, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish. I said those words and meant them, but I'm starting to understand that Jessica said them too, and maybe she meant something entirely different. Maybe for her, those words were just lines in a script, a performance for the audience, beautiful photos for the album. And once the performance was over, once the photos were taken, once the audience went home, well, then the real person emerged. The person who plans in secret, who drains bank accounts, who moves sisters into bedrooms and husbands into garages. The person who I'm just now starting to see clearly. I get out of the truck and go into the garage apartment. I lock the door behind me, something I haven't done before, but I do now. I change the passwords on my phone, my laptop, my bank accounts, my email, everything. New passwords she couldn't guess. I enable two-factor authentication wherever possible. Then I sit at my small desk and I add to my timeline. November 24. Consulted with Cole. Confirmed strategic planning on Jessica's part. Initiated protective measures. Retained divorce attorney consultation. Forensic accountant to trace money transfers. I stare at those words, at the clinical language that describes the dissolution of everything I thought my life was, and I realize I'm not the same David who walked into his bedroom Friday night and got told to move to the garage. That David was passive, trusting, willing to accommodate, willing to make himself smaller. This David is different. This David is paying attention. This David is documenting. This David is preparing. And when the time comes when I have all the information, all the evidence, all the pieces of this puzzle, this David is going to make sure the truth comes out, whatever that truth turns out to be. Monday morning, I wake to my alarm at 5:45 a.m. The garage apartment is still dark, still cold, still 30 feet from what used to be my life. I shower in the cramped stall and dress for work. Carhartt jeans, a thermal shirt, steel-toed boots, the uniform of a man who builds things with his hands. The irony isn't lost on me that I spend my days constructing buildings while my marriage crumbles around me. My phone shows 2 texts from Jessica, sent at 11:47 p.m. last night while I was still at Cole's house. Monica had some cramping. False alarm, but she was scared. Where were you? Never mind. We handled it. The accusation is subtle, but present. I wasn't there when needed. I failed in some undefined duty. The fact that I was never told I had this duty, that I wasn't invited to participate in Monica's care, that I've been systematically excluded from the main house, none of that matters. I text back, sorry, was at Kohl's. Everything okay now? No response, just the read receipt. I make coffee and sit at my desk, looking at the timeline I've built. Today I need to act normal, need to be the David they expect, the accommodating David, the David who doesn't ask questions. It's harder than I expected. The construction site is downtown, a 6-story mixed-use building going up where an old department store used to be. I'm the lead estimator, but I also manage the subcontractors, coordinate schedules, solve problems. It's the kind of work that requires complete attention, which makes it the perfect escape. My crew is already there when I arrive at 7 a.m. Jimmy, my foreman, is reviewing blueprints with the electrical contractor. They wave when they see me, and I fall into the rhythm of the work. Measurements, calculations, decisions about materials and methods and timelines. For 6 hours, I don't think about Jessica, about Monica, about garage apartments and nurseries and money transfers. For 6 hours, I'm just a guy doing his job. Then lunch happens. I'm eating a sandwich in my truck, reviewing the afternoon schedule, when my phone rings. Unknown number. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. David Thornton? A woman's voice. Professional. Pleasant. Speaking. This is Amanda Chen. I'm a divorce attorney with Morrison & Associates. Cole Richardson asked me to reach out to you about a consultation. My stomach drops, even though I've been expecting this. Right. Yes. Thank you for calling. I have an opening tomorrow at 4 p.m. if that works for you, or Wednesday morning at 10. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Jessica will expect me home for dinner. She's been texting about family dinners all week, about how important it is that we all eat together, how Monica needs the support of family. Missing dinner would be noticed. Wednesday at 10, I say. Perfect. I'm going to send you some intake forms via email. If you could fill those out and bring them with you, along with any financial documents you have, bank statements, mortgage papers, anything related to marital assets, that would be helpful. I can do that. And David, Cole gave me a brief overview of your situation. I want you to know that what you're experiencing is more common than you might think. You're doing the right thing by getting informed about your options. After we hang up, I sit in my truck for a long time, staring at the construction site without really seeing it. This is real now. I've retained a divorce attorney. I'm filling out intake forms. I'm gathering financial documents. I'm preparing to end my marriage. Except I'm not the one ending it. Jessica ended it months ago. I'm just now catching up to reality. That evening, I arrive home at 6:15 p.m. Jessica's car is in the driveway, and through the kitchen window I can see movement. I steel myself and walk into the main house. Jessica is at the stove, stirring something in a pot. Monica sits at the kitchen table, her phone in one hand, a glass of juice in the other. They both look up when I enter. David, Jessica says, and there's surprise in her voice, like she didn't expect me to show up in my own house. You're home. I live here, I say, keeping my tone neutral. In the garage, Monica adds helpfully. She's smiling, but there's something sharp underneath it. A test, maybe. Seeing if I'll react. I don't. How are you feeling? Jessica mentioned cramping last night. Monica's hand goes to her belly in that reflexive gesture pregnant women do. Oh, that. It was nothing. Braxton Hicks. Contractions. Totally normal. Jessica was amazing, though. So calm and supportive. That's good, I say. I look at Jessica. What are you making? Pasta primavera. Monica's been craving vegetables. She doesn't ask if I want to stay for dinner. Doesn't set a place for me. Just keeps stirring. I feel like a stranger in my own kitchen, a visitor who's overstayed their welcome. I'm going to grab some things from upstairs, I say. Some work clothes. Sure, Jessica says absently. I climb the stairs, hyper-aware of every sound I'm making. The bedroom door is partially open, and I can see inside. The nursery is even more complete now. There are stuffed animals on the changing table, baby blankets draped over the crib rail, a mobile hanging from the ceiling with stars and moons. How much more money has been spent on this? How much more has been drained from our accounts? I go to the closet and pull out a few work shirts, moving quickly, not wanting to linger. But as I'm leaving, something catches my eye. A shoebox on the top shelf, one I don't recognize. It's a designer brand Valentino expensive. I shouldn't. I should just leave, but I can't. I pull it down and open it. Inside, a burner phone. The cheap kind you buy at convenience stores with prepaid minutes. No contract, no records, no way to trace it to a specific person. My heart pounds as I turn it on. It powers up slowly, the screen glowing in the dim closet. There are text messages, lots of them. I open the thread. The contact is listed as J. I start reading from the bottom, from the oldest messages, working my way up. Can't wait to see you tonight. August 15, 11, 47 p.m. You looked incredible today. Couldn't stop thinking about you during the meeting. August 18, 2:33 p.m. She suspects something. We need to be more careful. August 22, 9:15 p.m. The plan is working. Monica agreed to everything. By Christmas, you'll be free. September 3, 7:42 p.m. I love you. I know this is complicated, but it'll be worth it. We'll have everything we want. September 10, 10:23 p.m. I keep scrolling, my hands shaking. There are dozens of messages, hundreds maybe. They go all the way through October into November. The most recent is from 3 days ago. He moved to the garage without a fight. Easier than we thought. Monica's settled in. Just need to wait out the 30 days. November 23, 11:15 p.m. I take pictures of every message, every single one. My phone's camera shutter clicks in rapid succession, the sound seeming impossibly loud in the quiet closet. Then I hear footsteps on the stairs. I power off the burner phone and shove it back in the shoebox, replace the box on the shelf. I grab the work shirts I came for and step out of the closet just as Jessica appears in the doorway. "What are you doing?" she asks. There's an edge to her voice. "Getting clothes. I told you downstairs." She looks at the shirts in my hands, then at me. Her eyes narrowed slightly. "You were up here a while." "Was I?" I check my phone like I'm checking the time. Couple minutes, maybe. Dinner's ready. She doesn't move from the doorway. Doesn't let me pass easily. I have to turn sideways to get by her, and as I do, I smell her perfume. The one I bought her for our anniversary last year. She's wearing it for someone else now. For Jay. Dinner is surreal. We sit at the kitchen table, Jessica, Monica, and me, eating pasta and making small talk. Monica chatters about baby names, about nursery themes, about parenting books she's been reading. Jessica nods and smiles and engages, asking questions, offering opinions. I'm right there and might as well be invisible. "What do you think, David?" Monica asks at one point. I realize I've completely zoned out. "Sorry, what?" "About the name Olivia, for a girl. Do you like it?" "It's nice," I say. "Just nice?" Monica laughs. "Come on, you can have a stronger opinion than that." I look at her hand resting on her pregnant belly, at the easy smile on her face. Does she know about Jay? Is she part of this conspiracy or just a convenient pawn? "I think," I say carefully, "that whatever name you choose will be perfect. It's your baby. Your decision." "Our decision," Monica corrects. "Mine and Mark's." "Where is Mark tonight?" I ask, keeping my tone casual. Monica's smile falters slightly. "Working. He's been working a lot lately." "On a Monday evening?" "On a Monday evening." "Big project," she says quickly. "Year-end stuff. You know how it is." I do know how it is. I know exactly how it is. Mark is working the same way Jessica was at book club all those nights. The same way my wife has been supporting her sister instead of being present in our marriage. We're all lying to each other. The only difference is that I know it now. After dinner, I help clear the table, my usual habit. So I do it to maintain appearances. Jessica loads the dishwasher and I wipe down the counters, and Monica sits scrolling through her phone, occasionally showing Jessica something and giggling. They look like sisters. Close, affectionate, conspiratorial, and maybe that's exactly what they are. I should get back to the apartment, I say when the kitchen is clean. Got an early morning tomorrow. Okay, Jessica says without looking at me. Night. Good night, David, Monica calls out, her voice sing-song and cheerful. I walk the 30 feet to the garage apartment through the November darkness. The temperature has dropped and there's frost forming on the grass. Winter is coming fast. Inside, I immediately upload the photos of the burner phone messages to my cloud storage. Then, I text Cole. Found burner phone in bedroom. Jessica's having an affair. Someone named Jay in the messages. Hundreds of texts going back to August. They've been planning this together. Photos uploaded. Cole responds within minutes. Jesus. Okay. Don't confront. Keep documenting. See you Wednesday before your attorney meeting? Yeah. 9 a.m.? I'll be there. I sit at my desk and open my laptop. I pull up the burner phone photos and start reading through them more carefully, taking notes, building a timeline of the affair. The first message is from August 3rd, almost 4 months ago, right around when Jessica joined the new gym, bought new clothes, started taking care of herself. The messages are romantic at first, flirty, full of longing and anticipation. But by mid-August, they shift, become more practical, more strategic. She'll need a place to stay. Can't afford her own apartment right now. Jessica, what about Mark's place? Too small, and he's got his own situation to deal with. So what do? Your house. Move her in. Establish her as a tenant. Makes everything more complicated for David if he tries to fight the divorce. Reading it laid out so explicitly, seeing my name in these messages, makes everything crystallize. This isn't just an affair. This is a coordinated strategy to complicate my life, to create leverage, to make divorce as difficult and expensive as possible. But why? What does making my life difficult accomplish? I keep reading. Once she's established, he can't easily remove her. The eviction process takes months. During that time, you have legal grounds to argue the house is marital property because it's being used for marital purposes, housing family, shared domestic space, etc. But it's his separate property. He bought it before we married. Doesn't matter. We can argue transmutation that he treated it as marital property by allowing family to live there, by sharing it with you. At minimum, it muddies the waters. Makes it harder for him to claim it's purely separate. Better settlement for you. There it is. The end game. Not just divorce, but divorce with a financial win. Jessica doesn't just want out of the marriage. She wants a piece of the house. My house. The one I bought with money my father left me. The one she has no legal claim to, unless she can manufacture one. And Monica is the tool to do it. Move her in, establish tenancy, create the appearance of shared family space, argue that the house has been transmuted into marital property. I feel sick. I keep scrolling through messages. There are references to money. Moved another $3,000 today. He hasn't noticed. Good. Keep moving it. Build up the safety net. You'll need it for the transition. What if he checks the account? He won't. He never does. Too trusting. Too trusting. They're right about that. I was too trusting. I believed in my marriage, in my wife, in the idea that we were partners building a life together. What a fool I was. The most recent messages are the most damning. How's he taking it? Better than expected. Barely protested. Just moved to the garage like a good boy. Told you he wouldn't fight. He never does. I almost feel bad. Don't. This is what's best for everyone. He'll be fine. He's always fine. I stare at that last exchange. The casual dismissal of me. The assumption that I'll just accept whatever happens because he never fights, and he's always fine. They don't know me at all. Or maybe they knew the old me, the accommodating me, the me who made myself smaller to avoid conflict. But that person is gone now. disappeared somewhere between Friday night and this moment. The person sitting here, reading these messages, documenting this betrayal, this is someone new, someone who fights back. I spend the rest of the evening organizing evidence. I create a master document with everything. Timeline of events, photos of receipts and bank transfers, screenshots of burner phone messages, photos of the nursery, documentation of the lease showing Mark's apartment is actually 2 bedrooms, records of Jessica's real estate consultation, everything. I save it all, back up it all, encrypt it all. Then I do something I should have done weeks ago. I check my credit report. It takes 20 minutes to access all 3 bureaus, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. And what I find makes my blood run cold. There are 2 new credit cards, both in my name, both opened in September. Total credit limit, $30,000. Combined balance, $27,400. Someone has been opening credit cards in my name and maxing them out. I didn't open these cards. I didn't authorize them. But they're in my name, tied to my social security number, affecting my credit score. I take screenshots of everything. Then I call the fraud departments of both credit card companies. It's after 10 p.m., but both have 24-hour lines. I need to report identity theft. I tell the first representative. Someone opened a card in my name without authorization. The process takes an hour. Fraud reports, affidavits, freezing the accounts. By the time I'm done with both companies, it's nearly midnight and I'm exhausted. But I'm also clearer than I've been in days. Jessica didn't just plan to take my house. She planned to destroy my credit, to rack up debt in my name, to leave me financially ruined, while she walked away with whatever she could extract from the divorce. This isn't just betrayal. This is warfare. And I'm only just now realizing I've been under attack for months. I add the credit card fraud to my evidence file. Then I email everything to Cole with a subject line. You need to see this. All of it. His response comes at 12:37 a.m. Holy shit. Wednesday can't come soon enough. Don't do anything until then. Promise me. I promise. I text back. But as I lie in the 2-small bed in the garage apartment, staring at the ceiling, listening to the silence that used to be my life, I make myself another promise. When this is over, when all the evidence is gathered, when all the lawyers are in place, when all the pieces are finally in position, I'm going to make sure the truth comes out. Every bit of it. Every message. Every transfer. Every lie. I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly who Jessica is and what she's done. Not for revenge, though I won't lie and say there isn't some satisfaction in that idea. But for justice, for truth, for the principle that you can't just destroy someone's life and walk away clean. They wanted me to be passive, to be accommodating, to be the David who never fights back. They're going to learn that they killed that David when they pushed him into the garage. And the one who emerged is someone they've never met before. Someone who documents, someone who plans, someone who, when the time is right, will show them exactly what happens when you underestimate the quiet ones. Tuesday passes in a fog of work and waiting. I go through the motions at the construction site, approve change orders, review safety protocols, coordinate with the steel contractor about delivery schedules. Jimmy notices something's off and asks if I'm feeling okay. I tell him I'm just tired, not sleeping well. This, at least, is true. That night, I skip dinner at the main house entirely. Text Jessica that I'm working late, grab takeout from a Thai place near the office, eat it alone in my truck while reviewing the evidence files on my laptop one more time. Making sure everything is organized, complete, ready for tomorrow's meeting. Jessica texts back, okay, Monica made pot roast. No, miss you. No, come home when you can. Just a statement about what I'm missing. The subtext clear. You're choosing to be absent. This is on you. But I'm not absent. I've been pushed out. There's a difference. I work in the garage apartment until almost 2 a.m., going through financial records, organizing documents, preparing questions for the attorney. When I finally sleep, it's fitful, filled with dreams I can't quite remember when I wake at 5:45 a.m. Wednesday morning arrives cold and clear. The first real cold snap of winter. I can see my breath when I step outside to warm up my truck. I meet Cole at a coffee shop near the attorney's office at 9 a.m. He's already there, 2 large coffees on the table, looking like he didn't sleep much either. "You look how I feel," he says when I sit down. "That bad?" "Let's just say Sarah noticed something was bothering me. Had to tell her I was helping you with some legal issues. She sends her love, by the way. Says if you need anything, just ask." I'm grateful for this. For Cole and Sarah and their uncomplicated marriage and their willingness to help me navigate mine falling apart. I printed everything. I say, pulling a folder from my messenger bag. Timeline, photos, bank records, credit card fraud documentation, screenshots of the burner phone messages, all of it. Cole opens the folder and flips through the pages. His expression gets darker with each one. When he reaches the credit card fraud documentation, he swears under his breath. "David, this is felony-level stuff. Identity theft, fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud. This isn't just divorce territory anymore. This is criminal. I know. Are you prepared for where this might go? Because if you pursue the criminal angle, Jessica could face charges, jail time even. I think about that. About my wife, the woman I married, the woman I loved in an orange jumpsuit, facing a judge, being sentenced. Part of me recoils from the image, but a larger part, a harder part, feels nothing. She made her choices, I say. I'm just documenting the consequences. Cole studies me for a moment. Okay. Just wanted to make sure you understand the stakes. I do. We finish our coffee and walk the 2 blocks to Morrison and Associates. The office is in a historic building downtown, all exposed brick and tall windows. The kind of place that screams expensive, but tasteful. The reception area has leather furniture and abstract art, and a view of the city that probably costs extra in the lease. Amanda Chen comes out to greet us at exactly 10 a.m. She's younger than I expected, early 40s, maybe with sharp eyes and a firm handshake. She's wearing a navy suit that looks like it cost more than my truck payment, and carrying a legal pad already filled with notes. "David," she says. "Cole, thanks for coming in. Let's go to my office." Her office is all windows on 2 sides, with a large desk, built-in bookshelves, and a small conference table. We sit at the table, and she opens a file folder. "I've reviewed the materials you sent over," she says, looking at me. "And I want to be very clear from the start. What you're experiencing is not a typical divorce situation. This is a coordinated effort to defraud you of marital and separate assets, potentially involving multiple parties, with elements of identity theft and financial manipulation that cross into criminal territory." That's what Cole said. He's right. So, before we talk about divorce strategy, I need to ask, do you want to pursue criminal charges against your wife? The question hangs in the air. This is the fork in the road. One path leads to divorce, property division, moving on. The other leads to prosecutors and trials and potential prison time. I want to understand all my options, I say carefully, but my priority is protecting myself financially and legally. If criminal charges are part of that protection, then yes. If not, I'm willing to consider other approaches. Amanda nods, making notes. Fair enough. Let's start with the basics. Tell me about your marriage. When you got married, what assets you brought into it, how finances have been handled. I walk her through it. Meeting Jessica 4 years ago at a mutual friend's wedding, the whirlwind romance, getting married after dating for only 8 months. How I owned the house free and clear, bought it with the inheritance from my father's death, never took a mortgage. How I kept my personal checking account separate, but we opened a joint account for shared expenses. How Jessica maintained her own car payment and personal expenses from her salary while I paid the mortgage, utilities, most of the groceries. And you have documentation of all this? Bank statements showing the payment sources? Yes. Everything goes through my personal account. The joint account was mostly for her to contribute to groceries and household items, but I can show she rarely did. Maybe a few hundred a month at most. Good. That's very good. It establishes the house as your separate property and shows no commingling of assets for its maintenance. In Oregon, that matters. She makes more notes. Now, tell me about the affair. I walk her through the burner phone discovery. The messages with Jay, the timeline of the relationship, the strategic planning to move Monica in, establish tenancy, complicate the divorce. Amanda's expression doesn't change, but I see her grip tighten on her pen. Do you know who Jay is? No, I've been trying to figure it out. The messages don't give much detail, just a lot of strategic discussion and romantic talk. We'll need to identify this person. They're likely a co-conspirator in the financial fraud, especially if they helped plan the credit card scheme. Cole, has your forensic accountant made any progress on the money transfers? Cole pulls out his own folder. She traced the receiving account. It's held at a different bank under the name JM Properties LLC, filed as an LLC in Oregon in August. Officers listed are Jessica Thornton and someone named James Morrison. The air goes out of the room. James Morrison. I repeat, the name means nothing to me. Does that name ring any bells? Amanda asks. I shake my head. No? Should it? Cole pulls out a printout. James Morrison, age 34, works as a real estate developer, specializes in property acquisitions and renovations. He's actually somewhat well known in Portland real estate circles. Aggressive buyer, flips high-end properties. Real estate developer, property acquisitions. The real estate consultation Jessica had in October suddenly makes more sense. That's Jay, I say quietly. James Morrison. He's the one she's having an affair with. And he's helping her steal from you. Amanda adds, because here's what I think is happening, David. Jessica and James formed this LLC to move your marital assets money from the joint savings account into a business entity they control. If they play this right, they can argue those funds were invested in business opportunities, that the LLC is a legitimate business, and that Jessica's interest in the LLC is her separate property from the marriage. But it's my money, I say. It was joint account money, Amanda corrects, which makes it marital property technically. She had as much right to access it as you did. The question is whether she had the right to transfer it to an LLC without your knowledge, and whether that constitutes fraud. I think we can make a strong argument that it does, especially combined with the credit card fraud. I feel sick. Thousands of dollars, just gone. Transferred to an LLC I never knew existed, controlled by my wife and her boyfriend, supposedly for business purposes. Can we get it back? I ask. We can try. First step is filing for divorce and requesting a temporary restraining order preventing either party from dissipating marital assets. That freezes everything until the court can sort it out. Second step is discovery. We get to subpoena, bank records, LLC documents, communications. We force full disclosure of where the money went and what it was used for. If we can show it was fraud, the court can order repayment plus damages. How long does that take? Months, maybe a year or more, depending on how cooperative they are. And David, they're not going to be cooperative. Based on what you've shown me, they've been planning this for months. They'll have their own attorneys, their own strategy, their own version of events. What's their version likely to be? Cole asks. Amanda leans back, thinking. They'll say the money transfers were legitimate business investments, that Jessica had every right to move money from a joint account into business opportunities. That Central Terribles, the money transfers was reside, their Amanda business opportunities. If U15, their Amanda leans back, that the LLC is real and profitable. They'll minimize the affair or deny it entirely unless we have ironclad proof. They'll say Monica moving in was family helping family. Nothing strategic about it. They'll argue David is paranoid, controlling, possibly abusive, anything to shift the narrative. Abusive, I repeat. I've never touched her in anger, never even raised my voice much. Doesn't matter. In divorce, truth is whatever story sounds most convincing. They'll paint you as the bad guy if it helps their case. It's ugly, but it's how this works. So what do I do? Amanda pulls out a fresh legal pad. Here's my recommendation. We file for divorce immediately. Today, if possible. We request a temporary restraining order on assets and a motion to compel Monica to vacate the property. We file a police report for the credit card fraud that creates an official record and gets law enforcement involved. We engage Cole's forensic accountant to provide expert testimony about the money transfers. And we prepare for a fight, because that's what this is going to be. Will I get the house? Almost certainly. It's your separate property. You have clear documentation, and Monica's tenancy is too recent to establish any serious claim. The court will likely order her to vacate within 30 to 60 days. The joint account money is murkier. That'll get divided somehow, though we'll argue for full restitution given the fraud. The credit card debt in your name should be dischargeable once we prove fraud. You won't be responsible for it. What about Jessica? What does she get? Probably nothing. Maybe a small share of the joint account if the court finds some of her transfers were legitimate. But given the totality of circumstances, the affair, the fraud, the strategic manipulation, I think we can make a strong case that she's entitled to minimal marital property. I sit with this information. Divorce filed today. Police reports, forensic accountants, court battles, the complete dismantling of what I thought was my life. Do it, I say. File everything. Today. Amanda nods. I'll need a retainer. My fee is $400 an hour, and I'll need $10,000 up front to get started. Divorce litigation can get expensive, especially if they fight hard. You could be looking at $30,000 to $50,000 in legal fees before this is done. The number is staggering, but I think about the alternative, doing nothing, letting them continue to steal from me, losing everything because I was too passive to fight back. I have the money, I say. My personal account. I can write you a check right now. Good. I'll have my assistant draw up the retainer agreement. In the meantime, I need you to do something important. Stop communicating with Jessica about anything substantive. No discussions about money, property, Monica, the marriage. Keep it superficial logistics only. And for God's sake, don't let her know you've hired an attorney until she's been served with the divorce papers. When will that happen? If we file today, service can happen as early as Friday. I'll use a professional process server. Jessica will be handed the papers formally, likely at work or at home. At work, I say immediately. Serve her at work. I don't want to be anywhere near her when it happens. Amanda makes a note. Understood. One more thing. You should consider staying somewhere else for a few days after service. Things can get volatile. If Jessica comes home angry and confrontational, I don't want you in that garage apartment where she can corner you. I can stay with us, Cole offers. Sarah won't mind. The kids would love it, actually. You can take the guest room. I nod, grateful. Okay, thank you. The meeting continues for another hour. Amanda takes detailed notes, asks hundreds of questions, begins sketching out the divorce petition. Cole provides the forensic accountant's contact information. I sign forms, write the retainer check, agree to gather more documentation. By noon, it's done. I've officially retained a divorce attorney. The wheels are in motion. As we're leaving, Amanda stops me at the door. David, I know this is overwhelming, but you're doing the right thing. People like Jessica and James, they count on their victims being too confused or too passive to fight back. The fact that you're fighting back, that you're documenting everything, that you're being strategic instead of emotional, that's going to make all the difference. I don't feel strategic, I admit. I feel like I'm drowning. That's normal, but you're not drowning. You're swimming, and you're going to make it to shore. I promise you that. Cole and I grab lunch at a deli near his office. Neither of us has much appetite, but we order sandwiches anyway, sitting in a corner booth where we can talk privately. How are you holding up? He asks. Honestly, I don't know. I feel numb, like this is happening to someone else and I'm just watching it. That's shock. It'll pass. And then you'll probably get angry. Really angry. That's normal too. I'm already angry. I'm just too tired to feel it fully. Cole takes a bite of his sandwich, chews thoughtfully. Can I ask you something? And you can tell me to fuck off if it's too personal. Sure. Do you still love her? Jessica? I mean, after everything you've found, everything she's done, is there any part of you that still loves her? I think about that. About the woman I married. The one who laughed at my jokes and held my hand during movies and said I do in front of 100 people. The one who used to curl up against me on Sunday mornings, who used to ask about my day, who used to make me feel like I mattered. I love who I thought she was, I say finally. But that person doesn't exist. Maybe she never did. Maybe I was just in love with a performance, with the woman she pretended to be, until she didn't need to pretend anymore. That's a hard thing to accept. Everything about this is hard. We eat in silence for a while. Then Cole says, "For what it's worth, I think Jessica's going to regret this. Not right away, maybe, but eventually. When the affair with James fizzles out, when the money runs out, when she realizes she destroyed a good thing for something temporary, she's going to regret it. Will that make me feel better? Probably not, but it's something." I go back to work for the afternoon, throwing myself into the construction schedule, the material orders, the 1,000 small decisions that keep a project moving forward. It's easier to think about concrete and steel than about divorce papers and process servers. At 4:30, my phone buzzes. Text from an unknown number. This is Amanda Chen's assistant. Divorce petition filed today at 3:47 p.m. Process server scheduled for Friday at 10 a.m. at Jessica's workplace. Will call with updates. It's done. The paperwork is filed. In 48 hours, Jessica will know that I'm divorcing her. 48 hours to maintain the pretense, to act normal, to be the accommodating David she expects. I can do this. I have to do this. I drive home at 6 p.m., park in my usual spot, and walk into the main house. Jessica and Monica are in the living room, watching some home renovation show. They look up when I enter. "Hey," Jessica says, "you're home early." "Finished up at the site. Thought I'd see what you guys were up to." "Just relaxing. Monica's feet are swollen, so we're doing a lazy evening." I look at Monica, at her feet propped up on the ottoman, at the comfortable way she's sprawled across my couch. My couch in my house, where she's been living for less than a week, but has already made herself completely at home. In 48 hours, this all changes. "I'm going to grab a shower," I say. "Maybe join you guys after?" "Sure," Jessica says absently, already turning back to the TV. I go upstairs and shower in the hall bathroom. I can't use the master bath anymore, that's Monica's now. The water is hot, and I stand under it for a long time, letting it beat against my shoulders, trying to wash away the tension that's been building for days. When I come back down, Jessica and Monica are ordering takeout, Chinese food. They ask what I want, and I tell them orange chicken, fried rice. We eat together at the kitchen table, making small talk about nothing important. The weather, the TV show they were watching, Monica's doctor appointment tomorrow. It's all so normal, so painfully, artificially normal. And I sit there, eating orange chicken, nodding at appropriate times, pretending I don't know that in 48 hours everything explodes, pretending I'm still the David who doesn't know anything. The David who doesn't fight back. But I'm not that David anymore. I haven't been since Friday night. And on Friday at 10 a.m., they're going to find out exactly who I've become. Thursday passes like a held breath. I go through the motions at work, come home to the garage apartment, avoid the main house except for a brief, awkward dinner where Monica complains about heartburn and Jessica fusses over her like a mother hen. I sit there, fork in hand, nodding at appropriate times, my mind elsewhere. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., Jessica's world changes, and so does mine. That night I pack a bag, clothes for a week, toiletries, my laptop, the folder with all the evidence, everything I might need if I don't come back here for a while. Cole said the guest room is ready. Sarah's making up the bed with fresh sheets, stocking the bathroom with towels. They're treating this like I'm a refugee fleeing a war zone. Maybe I am. I text Amanda Chen at 11 p.m., "Still on for tomorrow." Her response comes quickly. Process server confirmed. 10 a.m. at her office building. He has her photo and workplace details. We'll call you as soon as service is complete. Thank you. Get some sleep. Tomorrow is going to be a long day. But sleep doesn't come. I lie in the dark, staring at the ceiling, thinking about Jessica's face when she gets handed those papers. Will she be shocked, angry, scared? Part of me wants to see it. Part of me never wants to see her again. At 2:17 a.m., I hear a truck pull into the driveway. Mark's truck. I recognize the sound of his diesel engine. I get up and go to the window. Mark gets out, but he's not alone. There's a woman with him, the same blonde from Saturday night. She's wearing different scrubs, blue this time instead of the cartoon ones, and they're laughing about something as they walk to his truck bed. He pulls out a duffel bag and hands it to her. She stands on her toes and kisses his cheek. It's quick, casual, familiar. The kiss of people who've done this many times before. I grab my phone and take photos. The truck, the woman, the duffel bag, the kiss, the timestamp showing 2:19 a.m., everything. They talk for another few minutes. I can't hear what they're saying, but their body language is easy, comfortable. Then she walks away down the street again, duffel bag over her shoulder, and Mark gets back in his truck and drives off. I added to my evidence file, Mark with unknown woman, 2:19 a.m. Thursday. Physical contact, exchange of bag, photos attached. Monica is upstairs in my bedroom, 7 months pregnant with Mark's baby, and he's out here at 2 a.m. with another woman, meeting her, kissing her, whatever else they're doing when they're not in my driveway. I wonder if Monica knows. I wonder if Jessica knows. I wonder if this is all part of their plan too, or if there are betrayals within betrayals, lies nested inside lies. I go back to bed, but don't sleep. Just watch the ceiling and wait for dawn. Friday morning arrives gray and cold. I'm up at 5:30, showered and dressed by 6. I have my bag packed, my evidence secured, my truck ready to go. The plan is simple. Go to work like normal, wait for Amanda's call confirming service, then drive straight to Cole's house. Don't stop at the garage apartment. Don't give Jessica a chance to corner me. Just go. At 7 a.m., I text Jessica. Heading to work early. Big delivery today. Might be late tonight. She responds, okay. Not okay or all right. Just okay. 2 letters. The minimal possible acknowledgement of my existence. In 3 hours, she gets divorce papers. In 3 hours, she learns that the accommodating husband has been documenting everything. That the man she pushed into the garage has been building a case against her. I wonder what that 2-letter response will look like then. The construction site is busy. The steel delivery I mentioned to Jessica is real. 12 tons of structural steel being craned into place for the upper floors. It requires my full attention. Coordinating the crane operator, checking the welds, making sure the pieces align correctly with the blueprints. It's dangerous work. One wrong measurement, one miscalculation, and people could die. It's exactly the kind of distraction I need. At 9:45 a.m., my phone is in my truck, volume turned all the way up. I check it compulsively between crane lifts. No calls yet, no texts, nothing. At 9:58, Jimmy asks if I'm okay. I tell him I'm fine, just tired. He doesn't look convinced, but lets it drop. At 10:03 a.m., my phone rings. I nearly drop my coffee getting to it. Amanda Chen's number. Hello? David, it's Amanda. Service is complete. Jessica was served at 10:01 a.m. in the lobby of her office building. The process server reported she appeared shocked, then angry. She accepted the papers, read the first page, and immediately tried to call someone we assume you. I'd suggest not answering if she does. My phone starts buzzing in my hand. Jessica calling. Right on cue. She's calling now. I tell Amanda, don't answer. Let it go to voicemail. She's going to be emotional and possibly say things that could complicate the case. Everything she says in a voicemail, however, is documented evidence. Okay, are you somewhere safe, where she can't find you? At work. I'm leaving soon to go to my friend Cole's house. I won't go back to the property until you advise it's safe. Good. Stay with Cole for at least the weekend, maybe longer. Give Jessica time to process this with her attorney, and she will get an attorney, probably today. Once emotions cool and lawyers are involved, things should stabilize somewhat. What happens next? She has 30 days to file a response to the divorce petition. In the meantime, the temporary restraining order on assets is in effect. She can't move more money, sell anything, or make major financial decisions without court approval. The motion to compel Monica to vacate the property will be heard in about 2 weeks. I'll keep you posted on dates. We hang up, and I stare at my phone. Jessica has called 3 more times in the last 2 minutes. I watch the calls come in, one after another, and let them all go to voicemail. Then the texts start. Call me. David, call me right now. What the fuck is this? You're divorcing me? Are you serious? Call me. We need to talk about this. You can't just divorce me without talking to me first. This is insane. Call me now. I watch them pile up. 10 texts in 3 minutes, then 15, then 20. The desperation is palpable, the shock, the anger. But underneath it all, I can read the panic. She didn't think I'd do this. Didn't think I had it in me. Thought she could push me around forever and I'd just accept it. She thought wrong. My phone rings again. This time it's a number I don't recognize. I let it go to voicemail. 30 seconds later, another voicemail notification appears. I wait 5 minutes, then listen to the voicemails. There are 7 total. The first 6 are from Jessica. David, pick up the fucking phone. What is this? You're divorcing me? Without even talking to me? This is crazy. We need to discuss this like adults. Call me back. David, seriously, call me. I know you're mad about Monica moving in, but this is extreme. We can work this out. Just call me. Why are you doing this? What happened? Please just call me so we can talk. David, I'm begging you. Please, just talk to me. Don't do this. We can fix this. You're being cruel. You know that? Serving me at work? Having some stranger hand me divorce papers in front of my coworkers? That's fucked up, David. Fine. Don't call. Be a coward. But this isn't over. You can't just divorce me and take everything. I have rights too. The progression is fascinating. Shock to anger to pleading to blame, all in 6 voicemails, all in the span of 20 minutes. The 7th voicemail is from the unknown number, a man's voice, calm, controlled, with an edge of warning underneath. David, this is James Morrison. I'm calling on behalf of Jessica. I don't know what you think you're doing, but serving divorce papers without any prior discussion is aggressive and unnecessary. Jessica is devastated. We need to meet and discuss this like reasonable adults. Call me back at this number. James Morrison, J, the boyfriend, the real estate developer, the co-conspirator in the LLC that's holding my stolen money. He's calling me, warning me, trying to control the narrative. I save all the voicemails, forward them to Amanda Chen with a note. Jessica and James Morrison both calling. Multiple voicemails. Have not responded. Forwarding for documentation. Her response? Perfect. These are evidence of their relationship and his involvement in your marital affairs. Keep not responding. At 11:30, I tell Jimmy I need to leave early. Family emergency. He doesn't ask questions, just claps me on the shoulder and tells me to take care of whatever I need to take care of. I drive to Cole's house through midday traffic, my phone continuing to buzz with calls and texts I don't answer. By the time I pull into his driveway, Jessica has called 42 times. James Morrison has called 6 times. There are 93 unread text messages. I turn my phone on Do Not Disturb and leave it in the truck. Sarah opens the door before I can knock. She's a small woman with kind eyes and the sort of warm, practical energy that makes you feel immediately safe. She pulls me into a hug. Cole told me everything. She says, I'm so sorry, David. Come in. The guest room is ready. I made soup. I know you probably can't eat, but it's there if you want it. The guest room is at the back of the house, quiet and comfortable. There's a queen bed with a thick duvet, a reading chair by the window, a bookshelf full of novels. It feels like a sanctuary. I drop my bag and go back downstairs. Cole is in his home office, on the phone. He waves me in, and I sit in the chair across from his desk while he finishes his call. That was Amanda. He says, when he hangs up. She wanted to make sure you got here safely. Also wanted to give you a heads up. She expects Jessica's attorney to reach out early next week. This is going to move fast. Good. You holding up? I don't know. I feel like I'm watching all this happen to someone else. Still in shock. It'll wear off. Cole pulls out a folder. My forensic accountant finished her analysis of the LLC transactions. Want to hear it? Yes. The LLC JM Properties has been moving money aggressively since September. Your money, plus what appears to be capital from James Morrison. They've purchased 2 properties so far. Both fixer-uppers in developing neighborhoods. One in North Portland, one in Milwaukee. Total investment, around $380,000. They're planning to flip them, using my money. Some of it, yes. Maybe $45,000 to $50,000 of the funds came from your joint savings account. The rest appears to be Morrison's capital. They're partners in this. 50-50 ownership split, according to the LLC filing. I processed this. My money I earned, money I saved being used to fund real estate ventures with my wife's boyfriend. Properties I'll never see. Profits I'll never share. Can we get it back? The accountant thinks so. She's prepared to testify that the transfers were unauthorized, that you had no knowledge of the LLC, that your marital funds were misappropriated. Combined with the credit card fraud, it paints a clear picture of financial deception. What about the properties themselves? That gets complicated. The LLC owns them, and Jessica is a 50% owner of the LLC. We can argue that her ownership stake was obtained with fraudulent funds, which might give you a claim. But it'll be messy. Real estate litigation always is. My phone, still in my pocket, vibrates continuously. I pull it out and glance at the screen. 79 unread texts now. I open the messages just to see the latest ones. You're going to regret this. I know where you are. Cole's house. Really? You're hiding at Cole's? Coward. We're coming over. I show the texts to Cole. His expression darkens. She knows you're here? Apparently. Okay. New plan. Sarah, can you come here for a second? Sarah appears in the doorway. Cole shows her the texts. We might have visitors, he says. Jessica, and possibly others. If they show up, we don't answer the door. If they don't leave, we call the police for trespassing. Should we be worried? Sarah asks. No. They're just trying to intimidate David. Make him feel cornered. It won't work, but they're going to try. At 1:47 p.m., a car pulls up outside. Through the office window, I can see it's Jessica's white Acura. She gets out, and Monica is with her. They walk up to the front door. The doorbell rings. We don't move. Don't answer. Just sit in the office, listening. The doorbell rings again. Then again. Then I hear Jessica's voice, muffled through the door. David, I know you're in there. Cole's car is in the driveway. Just come out and talk to me. Please. Silence from inside the house. David, please. We need to talk about this. You can't just serve me with divorce papers and disappear. That's not fair. I deserve to know why you're doing this. She deserves to know why. As if the past 4 months of lies and betrayal and theft aren't reason enough. As if I owe her an explanation when she's given me nothing but deception. Fine, Jessica says, her voice rising. Be a coward. Hide in there. But this isn't over, David. You can't just take everything. That house is mine too. Half of it, at least. And Monica has rights. She's a tenant now. You can't kick her out. Monica says something I can't hear. Then Jessica again. Call your lawyer then. Tell him we're not going away. Tell him we're going to fight for what's ours. Footsteps retreating. Car doors slamming. The Acura driving away. We wait 5 minutes to make sure they're really gone. Then Sarah deadbolts the front door and closes all the curtains. I'm sorry, I say. I didn't mean to bring this to your house. Don't apologize, Cole says firmly. This is exactly where you should be. And David, did you hear what she said? That house is mine too. Half of it, at least. She doesn't even know you've documented everything. She still thinks she has a claim. She's going to be surprised when she sees the evidence. She's going to be destroyed when she sees the evidence. Cole corrects. And I know part of you feels bad about that. But remember, she did this. She planned this. She stole from you. She committed fraud in your name. She moved her sister into your bedroom and her boyfriend's hands into your bank account. Whatever happens to her now, she earned it. Whatever happens. Whatever happens. He's right. I know he's right. But there's still a small part of me, the part that loved her, that married her, that believed in us, that feels guilty for what's coming. That part is gonna have to learn to live with it. The rest of Friday passes quietly. I help Sarah make dinner, chicken and vegetables, simple and comforting. Cole's kids come home from school, and they're excited to see me, asking if I'm sleeping over, if we can play video games after dinner. Their innocence is refreshing. They don't know about divorce and betrayal and stolen money. They just know Uncle David is visiting, and that's fun. We play Mario Kart until their bedtime. I let them win most of the races. It feels good to care about something as simple as cartoon characters racing around rainbow tracks. After they're in bed, Cole and I sit in his living room with beers. Sarah joins us with a glass of wine. We don't talk about Jessica or the divorce. We talk about normal things, about Cole's latest case, about Sarah's book club drama, about their plans for Christmas. It's almost enough to make me forget the war I'm in the middle of. Almost. At 10:37 p.m., my phone buzzes with a new voicemail. I almost ignore it, but something makes me listen. It's James Morrison again. But this time, his voice is different. No more calm control. Now he sounds angry, threatened. David, you need to back off. Whatever you think you know, whatever you think you've found, you're making a mistake. Jessica and I have been friends for years. Friends. There's nothing inappropriate going on. You're paranoid and you're going to embarrass yourself with these accusations. Drop the divorce. Go to counseling with Jessica. Work it out. Because if you keep pushing this, if you keep making false allegations, you're going to regret it. I have lawyers too, and they're better than yours. I play it for Cole and Sarah. He's panicking, Cole says. That's a threat, and a weak one. We're just friends is the oldest lie in the book, and threatening legal action, that's what people do when they know they're caught. Should I be worried? I ask. About what? He's a real estate developer, not a mob boss. He can threaten all he wants. Amanda will eat him alive in court. Especially once we present the burner phone messages, the LLC documents, the money transfers. He's not dangerous. He's desperate. Forward that voicemail to Amanda too, Sarah suggests. Document everything, every threat, every contact, every attempt to intimidate you. It all helps your case. I send the voicemail to Amanda with a note. James Morrison escalating, threatening legal action, claims nothing inappropriate. Voicemail attached. Her response comes quickly, even though it's nearly 11 p.m. Perfect. His threats establish his involvement in your marital situation. This helps prove Jessica's affair and his role in the financial fraud. Keep saving everything. I sit back on Cole's couch, surrounded by evidence of normal family life. Kids' toys in the corner, family photos on the walls, the comfortable clutter of people who love each other and aren't tearing each other apart. This could have been my life, should have been my life. But Jessica made other choices. And now, we both have to live with the consequences. Saturday morning at Cole's house feels surreal. I wake to the sounds of family life, kids laughing, cartoons playing downstairs, the smell of pancakes and coffee. For a moment, before full consciousness returns, I forget where I am and why. Then I remember. My phone shows 127 unread text messages and 68 missed calls. I don't open any of them. Just forward the entire notification log to Amanda Chen with a timestamp. Documentation. Everything is documentation now. Cole knocks on the guest room door at 8:30. Breakfast is ready. Sarah made enough pancakes to feed an army. Also, you might want to see this. He hands me his iPad. On the screen is Facebook, Jessica's profile. She's posted a status update 2 hours ago. When the person you thought you knew shows their true colors, it's devastating. Going through something really difficult right now. Please respect my privacy. Just need prayers and support from real friends. The post already has 43 comments. I scroll through them. Mine. Dud. Dud. Sending love and prayers. What happened? Are you okay? You deserve so much better. Stay strong, girl. Jessica has responded to several. Thank you. Can't say much right now, but just know I'm heartbroken. I never saw this coming. Completely blindsided. Some people aren't who they pretend to be. She's controlling the narrative, painting herself as the victim, making it look like I'm the one who betrayed her, not the other way around. She's good, Cole says quietly. I'll give her that. She's already building public sympathy. Should I respond? Post my side? Absolutely not. That's what she wants. She wants you to engage publicly, to look petty and vindictive. Don't give her that. The truth comes out in court, not on Facebook. He's right, but it stings. Seeing those comments from people who think they know what's happening, who think Jessica is the wronged party. People we knew as a couple, friends from her work. Some of my old college buddies who stayed in touch with both of us. None of them know about the burner phone, the stolen money, the fraud, the affair. They will, eventually. But right now, Jessica's version is the only version they have. I close the iPad and go downstairs. Sarah has indeed made enough pancakes to feed an army. Cole's kids, Emma, 8, and Jake, 6, are already at the table, drowning their stacks in syrup. Uncle David, Emma says brightly. Dad says you're staying with us for a while. Just a few days, I say, sitting down. Hope that's okay. It's awesome. Can we go to the park later? Dad always says he's too busy, but maybe you'll take us? I look at Cole, who shrugs. I actually do have to work for a few hours today. A conference call with a client. If you're up for it, the park would be great. Wear them out so they sleep well tonight. Sure, I say. Park sounds good. It does sound good. Normal. Uncomplicated. A task with clear parameters and a successful outcome. Take kids to park. Push them on swings. Watch them run around. Bring them home tired and happy. Simple. After breakfast, while Cole is on his conference call, I sit in the guest room and finally open some of the text messages. Most are from Jessica, variations on the same themes. This is crazy. We need to talk. You're being cruel. I can't believe you're doing this. Call me. But there are others too. From Monica. David, Jessica is a mess. How could you do this to her? She's been nothing but good to you. You're making a huge mistake. The baby needs stability, and you're destroying our family. Mark says you're probably having a midlife crisis. That's what this is, right? You'll regret this when you come to your senses. Mark says, interesting that Mark has an opinion about my divorce, considering he's apparently too busy with his side piece to worry about his pregnant wife. There are messages from Jessica's friends, people I barely know, weighing in on my marriage. Jessica deserves better than this. Real men don't abandon their wives. Hope you're happy with yourself. And then, buried in the avalanche, one message from a number I don't recognize. You don't know me, but I know what's happening. We should talk. Meet me at Powell's Books, coffee shop section, 2 p.m. today. I'll be wearing a red jacket. Come alone. I stare at this message for a long time. It came in yesterday at 4:17 p.m., just hours after Jessica was served. Someone who knows what's happening. Someone who wants to talk. Could be a trap. Could be Jessica or James trying to get me to meet them somewhere public, create a scene, make me look unstable. Could also be someone with information. I screenshot the message and send it to Cole and Amanda Chen. Received this yesterday. Thoughts? Should I go? Amanda responds first. Could be valuable intel. Could be a setup. If you go, bring someone with you. Don't go alone. And record the conversation on your phone if Oregon is a one-party consent state, which it is. Cole messages, I can take you. Sarah can watch the kids. Let's do this. Powell's Books is a Portland institution. A full city block of new and used books, the kind of independent bookstore that makes you believe in the future of physical media. The coffee shop section is on the 3rd floor, tucked into a corner with mismatched chairs and the smell of espresso and old paper. Cole and I arrive at 1:55 p.m. He's wearing jeans and a casual jacket, trying to look unobtrusive. I've got my phone in my shirt pocket, recording app activated. We scan the coffee shop for someone in a red jacket. There, a woman, maybe late 20s, sitting alone at a corner table. She's nervous, I can tell. Keeps checking her phone, glancing at the entrance. When she sees me, she makes eye contact and nods slightly. That's her. I tell Cole. I'll get coffee and sit nearby, close enough to help if something goes wrong, far enough to not be obvious. I approach the table. I'm David. Sit, she says quietly. Please. Up close, she's pretty in a tired way. Blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail, minimal makeup, wearing scrubs under the red jacket. And suddenly, I recognize her. You're the woman, I say, from Mark's truck, 2 weeks ago, and Thursday night. Her eyes widen. You saw that? I saw. She closes her eyes briefly, then nods. Okay, that makes this easier, I guess. My name is Kayla. I'm a pediatric nurse at Legacy Emmanuel, and I'm sleeping with Mark Morrison. Morrison. Mark's last name is Morrison? Yeah, he's James Morrison's younger brother. Didn't you know that? The world tilts slightly. Mark Morrison, James Morrison, brothers. No, I say slowly. I didn't know that. Jessica never mentioned it. Monica never mentioned it. They wouldn't. It complicates the story. Kayla takes a sip of her coffee. It looks cold, like she's been nursing it for a while. Look, I'm not proud of this. I didn't know Mark was married when we started seeing each other last year. He told me he was single, that he lived alone, that he was ready for a relationship. By the time I found out about Monica, I was already invested. Last year, I repeat. So before Monica got pregnant, way before, we've been together for almost 18 months. And David, I need you to know something, because I think you're getting screwed, and it's not fair. She leans forward, lowering her voice. Monica's baby isn't Mark's. The coffee shop noise fades to white static. What? The baby. It's not Mark's. I know because Mark and I have been together the whole time. I know when Monica supposedly conceived February, right? 7 months ago? Mark was with me in Hawaii that entire week. We took a trip for my birthday. I have photos, receipts, everything. He couldn't have gotten Monica pregnant because he wasn't anywhere near her. My mind races. Then whose baby is it? I don't know for sure, but I've heard him on the phone with James, talking about the plan and how Monica's doing her part and how once the baby comes, everything changes. They talk in code mostly, but I'm not stupid. Something's going on. Something involving you and your wife. My wife is having an affair with James, I say, Mark's brother. Kayla nods, like this confirms something. That makes sense. James has money. Real estate money. And he's always been the ambitious one. The schemer. Mark just follows along, does what James tells him to. Why are you telling me this? She looks down at her coffee cup. Because I'm tired of being part of someone else's lies. Because Mark promised me he was leaving Monica after the baby came, but now I think that was never true. Because I heard him on the phone last night, laughing about how David's a sucker and how Jessica really played him. I don't know you, David, but I know what it's like to be played. And I'm done being quiet about it. I pull out my phone, open the recording app interface so she can see it. I'm recording this. Do I have your permission to keep recording? Yes, record everything. I'll testify if you need me to. I'll show you the Hawaii photos, the receipts, everything. I want Mark to know what it feels like when someone exposes the truth. Can you send me those photos? The Hawaii trip from February? She pulls out her phone and starts airdropping files. My phone pings repeatedly as photos load. Mark and Kayla on a beach, at a restaurant, in front of a hotel with a date stamp. February 14 to 21, 2025. February, when Monica supposedly conceived. Monica's due date is February 14th, I say, doing the math backward, which means conception would have been around early May, not February. Exactly, Kayla says. I thought about that too. Someone's lying about the due date, or about when she got pregnant, or about who the father is, or all three. We sit in silence for a moment. Cole catches my eye from his table across the room, raises his eyebrows in question. I give him a small nod. Everything's okay. There's more, Kayla says. Mark has been moving money, large amounts, into offshore accounts. He made me help him set some of it up, because I have family in the Cayman Islands, and he thought I'd know how to do it. I didn't, but he insisted, so I asked my uncle who works in banking down there. Mark's been transferring money every month since August. Tens of thousands of dollars. Where's the money coming from? He says his pharmaceutical sales commissions. But David, I've seen his pay stubs. He doesn't make that much. Not enough to be moving $50,000 to the Caymans. $50,000. The same amount that's missing from my joint savings account. Is it possible, I say slowly, that the money is coming from somewhere else? From someone else? You mean from Jessica? From your accounts? Or from James? From an LLC they set up together? Kayla's eyes widen. Oh my God, they're all in it together. All four of them. James and Jessica, Mark and Monica. They've been planning this. Planning what, exactly? I don't know. But whatever it is, it involves your money, your house, and that baby that probably isn't even Mark's. I feel Cole's hand on my shoulder. He's moved to our table without me noticing. David, you need to hear this, he says, holding out his phone. Amanda just sent this. On his screen is a court filing. Emergency motion from Jessica's attorney, filed an hour ago. Emergency motion for temporary spousal support and exclusive use of marital residence. Petitioner Jessica Thornton requests immediate spousal support in the amount of $3,500 per month and exclusive use of the marital home. Citing respondent David Thornton's abandonment of the marital residence and his failure to provide financial support during this difficult time. Abandonment, I say. She kicked me out, and now she's claiming I abandoned her. It gets worse, Cole says. Look at the supporting declaration. I scroll down. Jessica's sworn statement, signed and notarized. My husband David became increasingly unstable and controlling over the past several months. When my sister Monica needed a place to stay due to pregnancy complications and housing insecurity, David became irrationally angry. He moved himself to the garage apartment and refused to sleep in the same room as me, claiming he needed space. He stopped contributing to household expenses and became verbally abusive. I feared for my safety and my sister's safety. When I tried to discuss our marriage problems, he refused to communicate and instead served me with divorce papers at my workplace in front of my colleagues, causing me severe emotional distress and professional embarrassment. I am currently unemployed due to the hostile work environment created by his actions. Unemployed? I look up at Cole. She worked yesterday. She was served at work yesterday. How is she unemployed? Keep reading. End quote. And I have no income to support myself or my sister, who depends on me for housing and care during her high-risk pregnancy. I am requesting emergency support so that I can maintain the home and provide basic necessities. This is fiction, I say. Complete fiction. I'm not unstable. I'm not controlling. I didn't refuse to communicate, she announced. Monica was moving in and I was moving out. I didn't stop contributing to expenses. I pay the mortgage, the utilities, everything. And she's not unemployed. She had a job yesterday. She probably quit, Cole says grimly, or got herself fired, so she can claim she needs support. It's a classic move. Create financial dependence. Claim the spouse isn't providing. Request emergency support before the court can investigate. Kayla is watching this exchange with wide eyes. You're being set up. All of you are being set up. They've been planning this for months. I look at her. Will you help us? Will you testify about Mark and the money in Monica's pregnancy timeline? Yes. Whatever you need. I'm done protecting them. Cole is already texting Amanda. We need an emergency response to this motion, and we need to depose Monica about the pregnancy. Medical records, paternity tests, all of it. My phone buzzes. Text from Amanda. Saw the motion. Already drafting response. Need you to document every expense you've paid since Monica moved in. Every mortgage payment, utility bill, grocery receipt, everything. We prove you've been supporting the household while she's been draining accounts. I text back, have everything documented. Also have new witness. Can she testify about Mark Morrison and offshore accounts and about Monica's pregnancy timeline not adding up? Bring her to my office Monday morning, 9 a.m. This changes everything. We leave Powell's with Kayla's contact information and a promise that she'll send more documentation. Cole drives us back to his house in silence. When we pull into the driveway, he turns to me. You know what this means, right? Tell me. This isn't just about divorce. This isn't even just about financial fraud. This is a coordinated conspiracy involving at least 4 people: Jessica, James, Mark, and Monica, possibly more. They've been planning to defraud you, frame you as unstable and controlling, claim you abandoned your wife, force you out of your house, and split whatever they can extract from you. The baby is part of it somehow, maybe to create sympathy, maybe to establish Monica's tenancy more permanently, maybe something else we haven't figured out yet. But if the baby isn't Mark's, then whose is it? And why go through this whole pregnancy charade? Why move Monica into your house specifically? Why the timing of everything? I think about the timeline. Monica supposedly conceived in early May. The affair between Jessica and James started in August, based on the burner phone messages. Monica moved in November. The money transfers started in September. What if, I say slowly, the baby is James's? Cole's eyes widen. That would explain why Monica needed to be somewhere stable and supported. James is having an affair with your wife, but he also got his brother's wife pregnant. Maybe that's why Mark is getting paid off hush money for going along with the story that the baby is his. And why Monica needed to move in with us. Because James couldn't support her openly without exposing the affair. But Jessica could, under the guise of helping family. Which means Jessica has been supporting her boyfriend's baby mama, Cole finishes. Using your house, your resources, your money. We sit in the truck, watching the pieces fall into place. It's audacious. It's cruel. It's almost brilliant in its complexity. And if we can prove it, it destroys all of them. Monday, Cole says. We take Kayla to Amanda. We get medical records. We force paternity testing. We expose everything. Monday, I agree. But first, we have to get through the weekend. Through Jessica's false narrative. Through the emergency motion claiming I'm unstable and controlling. Through the social media posts and the sympathetic comments from people who don't know the truth. Through the silence of knowing what I know and having to wait to use it. I go inside and play video games with Emma and Jake. We order pizza for dinner. Sarah makes popcorn, and we watch a Pixar movie. I help put the kids to bed, reading Jake a story about dinosaurs until he falls asleep clutching a stuffed stegosaurus. Normal family things. The kind of things I thought I'd have someday with Jessica. The kind of things that are never going to happen now. At 11 p.m., I lie in the guest room bed and scroll through the evidence on my phone. The burner phone messages. The bank transfers. The photos of Mark and Kayla in Hawaii during Monica's supposed conception window. The emergency motion with its lies about abandonment and instability. And I make a promise to myself. When this goes to court, when all the evidence comes out, when the truth is finally revealed, I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly what happened. Not for revenge. Though there's some of that too, I won't lie. But for justice. For the principle that you can't just destroy someone and walk away clean. They thought I'd never fight back. They were wrong. Sunday morning I wake to my phone vibrating on the nightstand. I've learned to keep it on silent at night. The messages never stop, and checking them only feeds the anxiety that sits like a stone in my chest. 43 new messages, 16 missed calls, 2 voicemails. I'm about to put the phone down when I notice something different. One of the texts is from my own mother. My heart sinks. I haven't told my mother about the divorce, haven't told anyone in my family. I was waiting until things were more settled, until I had a clearer picture of what was happening. But Jessica has apparently decided not to wait. I open the message. David, I just got off the phone with Jessica. She's devastated. She says you're divorcing her without any warning, that you've been cruel and distant. Honey, what's going on? This doesn't sound like you. Please call me. We need to talk about this. There are 3 more messages from my mother, each more urgent than the last. Then one from my younger sister, Rebecca. Mom says you're getting divorced? What happened? Are you okay? Jessica seems really upset. Call me. And one from my uncle, my father's brother. Your mother is worried sick. Whatever's going on with you and Jessica, you need to handle it better than this. That girl is family. You don't just throw away family. That girl is family. Jessica has been part of my life for 4 years. My family has known her for 4 years. In that time, she's been to every holiday, every birthday, every family gathering. She's charmed them all with her smile and her thoughtfulness, and her ability to remember everyone's preferences and stories. Of course they believe her version. Of course they think I'm the problem. I text my mother. It's complicated. I'll call you today. Please don't believe everything Jessica tells you. There's more to this story. Then I text Rebecca. I'm okay. Jessica is not telling you everything. I'll explain when we can talk in person. I don't respond to my uncle. What would I say? That the family he's defending has been stealing from me? That she's been planning this for months? That nothing about our marriage was real? He wouldn't believe me. Not without proof. And the proof is coming. Just not yet. Downstairs, Sarah is making French toast. Cole is at the table with his laptop, reviewing documents. He looks up when I come in. Sleep at all? Some. Jessica's been calling my family. His expression darkens. Of course she has. Control the narrative. Get to your family before you can. Classic manipulation. My mother thinks I'm being cruel to her. Your mother doesn't have all the facts. When she does, she'll understand. Will she? I pour coffee, my hands not quite steady. What if she doesn't? What if nobody believes me? Jessica's already building this story about how I'm unstable and controlling. What if people believe her? Sarah puts a hand on my shoulder. David, the truth always comes out. Maybe not immediately, maybe not as fast as we'd like, but it comes out, and when it does, the people who matter will believe you. The people who matter. I repeat, my own mother just texted me that I'm throwing away family. Your mother doesn't know about the burner phone, Cole says, or the stolen money, or the credit card fraud, or any of it. Give her time. Give everyone time. But time feels like a luxury I don't have. Every hour that passes, Jessica's version spreads further. More people hear about the cruel husband who abandoned his wife. Fewer people will believe the truth when it finally comes out. My phone rings. My mother. I step out to the back porch to take the call. David. Her voice is tight with worry and disappointment. What is happening? Hi, Mom. Don't. Hi, Mom. Me. Jessica called me last night, crying. She says, you served her with divorce papers at her work, that you've been cold and distant for months, that you moved to the garage and refused to work on the marriage. Is this true? Some of it is true. The part about serving papers and moving to the garage. But Mom, there's so much more. She says you're having some kind of crisis, that you've changed, that you're not the man she married. I'm not having a crisis. I'm responding to Mom. Jessica has been lying to me, to both of us. There are things you don't know. What things? Because right now, all I know is that my son is divorcing his wife without any warning, and she's devastated. I want to tell her everything, about the affair, the money, the conspiracy, but something stops me. Maybe it's the knowledge that without proof, it just sounds like accusations. Maybe it's the realization that my mother has already chosen a side. I can't explain everything right now, I say, but I promise you, I'm not the bad guy here. Jessica has been planning this divorce for months. I just found out about it. Planning it? David, she's shocked by this. She had no idea you were unhappy. She's lying to you. Silence on the other end. Then, you're calling your wife a liar. Yes, because she is. Mom, please, just trust me. I'll explain everything when I can. But right now, I need you to not take sides until you have all the information. I'm your mother. I'm on your side. But David, you're not making sense. You sound paranoid. Paranoid. The same word Jessica used in her court filing. The same narrative she's spreading. I have to go, I say. I'll call you later this week. David? I hang up. Stand on Cole's back porch in the cold November air, watching my breath form clouds, feeling the weight of how thoroughly Jessica has outmaneuvered me in the court of public opinion. She's had months to prepare. I've had days. And she's winning. At noon, my phone buzzes with an email. Not from Jessica or my family. From someone named Dr. Patricia Hendricks at Oregon Health and Science University. Dear Mr. Thornton, I'm writing to you because I believe you deserve to know the truth about a situation that involves you indirectly. My name is Dr. Patricia Hendricks, and I'm an OB/GYN at OHSU. Monica Morrison has been my patient since July. I'm reaching out because during a recent appointment, Monica mentioned that she's been staying with her sister and brother-in-law, and that there have been complications regarding the pregnancy timeline and paternity. I cannot and will not share Monica's medical records without her consent. However, I can tell you that based on my examinations and ultrasounds, Monica's due date is approximately March 15th, not February 14th, as she's been telling people. This would place conception around mid-June, not early May. Additionally, Monica has requested paternity testing after the birth, which suggests uncertainty about the father's identity. I'm sharing this information because Monica mentioned during her last appointment that she feels guilty about the plan and that she's worried about what's going to happen when everything comes. She was quite distressed. I encouraged her to speak honestly with all parties involved, but she said she couldn't because there's too much money at stake. I'm violating no confidentiality laws by sharing these timeline details and general observations, but I wanted you to be aware that something inappropriate may be happening. If you have questions, please contact me. Sincerely, Dr. Patricia Hendricks. I read the email 3 times. Then I forwarded it to Cole and Amanda with shaking hands. Monica's due date is March 15th, conception mid-June, not early May. Not during the Hawaii trip when Mark was with Kayla, but a month later. And she's requested paternity testing because she doesn't know who the father is, or she knows, and it's not Mark. Cole appears in the doorway. Did you see? I saw. This is incredible. A doctor willing to testify about timeline discrepancies, about Monica's distress, about the plan. David, this is the smoking gun. My phone rings. Amanda Chen, calling on a Sunday. David, I just got the email. We need to meet today. This changes everything. Can you come to my office in an hour? Yes. Should I bring Kayla? Already called her. She's meeting us there. Cole, too. We need to strategize for tomorrow's emergency hearing. There's a hearing tomorrow? Jessica's emergency motion for support and exclusive use of the house. The judge scheduled it for tomorrow at 2 p.m. I was going to call you this morning, but then this email came through. We're going to destroy her entire case. Amanda's office on a Sunday afternoon is eerily quiet. No receptionist, no other attorneys, just us in the conference room with documents spread across the table like pieces of a puzzle finally coming together. Kayla arrives looking nervous. She's brought a folder thick with papers, bank statements, photos, text messages, everything she has on Mark, and the offshore accounts. I printed everything, she says. Every transfer, every conversation I can remember, every lie he told me. I want him to know what it feels like. Amanda nods approvingly. Good. Let's go through this systematically. She pulls out a whiteboard and starts drawing a timeline. February 14 to 21, Mark and Kayla in Hawaii, documented with photos and receipts. Mid-June, Monica's actual conception date, per Dr. Hendricks. Monica begins seeing Dr. Hendricks. Claims due date of February 14. August. Jessica's affair with James begins per burner phone messages. JM Properties LLC formed. Fertility clinic consultation. September. Large furniture purchases for nursery. Money transfers from joint account to LLC begin. October. Jessica consults real estate agent about property division. November 22. Monica moves into master bedroom. David moved to garage. November 29. David serves Jessica with divorce papers. Here's what I think happened, Amanda says, pointing to the timeline. Jessica and James started their affair in August. At some point, maybe before, maybe right at the beginning, James got Monica pregnant. Could have been an ongoing thing, could have been a one-time mistake, doesn't matter. Monica got pregnant in June. But she's been telling everyone the baby is Mark's, Kayla says. Because Mark is covering for his brother. My guess? James paid him to claim the baby, to stay married to Monica, to go along with the plan. That's where the offshore money comes from, payment for his silence and cooperation. And Monica goes along with it. Because James probably promised her something, Amanda continues. Maybe a cut of whatever they extract from you in the divorce. Maybe just financial support for the baby. Whatever it is, she agreed to move into your house, establish tenancy, complicate the divorce proceedings. And the fake due date? Cole asks. To make it seem like the baby was conceived when Mark and Monica were still together, before any suspicion of an affair, February conception looks like normal married couple pregnancy. June conception, when Jessica and James were already involved, looks suspicious. So they lie about the timeline. But the doctor figured it out, I say. Doctors always figure it out. Ultrasounds don't lie. Monica's been telling people February 14th, but her actual medical records will show March 15th. 1 month difference. 1 month that changes everything. Kayla leans forward. Dr. Hendricks said Monica feels guilty, that she mentioned the plan and money at stake. She's cracking. Which is why we need to move fast, Amanda says. Tomorrow at the hearing, Jessica is going to claim she's destitute, that you've abandoned her, that she needs emergency support. We're going to present evidence of the LLC, the money transfers, the credit card fraud, and we're going to request an emergency order compelling Monica to vacate the property and submit to paternity testing. Can you do that, I ask? Force paternity testing? We can request it. Whether the judge grants it depends on how we frame the request. But David, if we can show that Monica's pregnancy is part of a coordinated fraud scheme, that the baby might be James Morrison's Jessica's affair partner, and that Monica's presence in your house is part of a plan to establish false tenancy and complicate property division, the judge is going to be very interested. She pulls out another document. I've drafted a counter-motion. It requests immediate investigation of the LLC, forensic accounting of all transfers, paternity testing for Monica's baby, and eviction of Monica from the property within 7 days. It also requests that Jessica be held in contempt for filing false declarations about abandonment and for the credit card fraud. Contempt, I repeat. That's serious. Fraud is serious. Lying in court filings is serious. What they've done to you is serious. And tomorrow, we make sure the judge understands that. We spend the next 3 hours going through every piece of evidence. Amanda marks exhibits, prepares witness questions for Kayla and Dr. Hendricks, who she's subpoenaed for tomorrow, rehearses arguments. Cole takes notes, offers strategic suggestions, points out weak spots in Jessica's story. By the time we're done, it's nearly 6 p.m. and dark outside. Get some rest tonight, Amanda says. Tomorrow is going to be intense. Jessica's attorney will fight hard. They'll try to make you look controlling, unstable, vengeful. Don't react. Don't engage emotionally. Just let the evidence speak. What are our chances? She considers this. Of getting the emergency support denied? 90%. The evidence is overwhelming that you've been supporting the household while Jessica drained accounts. Of getting Monica evicted? 70%. Of getting paternity testing ordered? 60%. It's a harder ask, but the circumstances support it. Of getting Jessica held in contempt? 50-50. Judges don't like accusing people of lying without absolute proof. And what happens after tomorrow? The real divorce proceedings begin. Discovery, depositions, property division, negotiations. It'll take months. But tomorrow sets the tone. Tomorrow we show Jessica and her team that you're not the pushover they thought you were. Cole drives us back to his house through Sunday evening traffic. We stop for Chinese takeout. Nobody feels like cooking. Sarah has already put the kids to bed, and the three of us eat in the living room, watching a mindless action movie that requires no emotional investment. At 10 p.m., I go to the guest room and check my phone. 214 unread messages. I don't open any of them. Instead, I open the folder of evidence on my laptop. I look at everything we've gathered. Burner phone messages showing the affair and the planning. Bank records showing the systematic draining of savings. Credit card fraud documentation. Photos of Mark and Kayla in Hawaii during Monica's supposed conception. Dr. Hendricks' email about the real due date. Kayla's statement about offshore accounts. The LLC documents. Jessica's false court filings. It's overwhelming. It's damning. It's the truth. And tomorrow, it all comes out. I think about Jessica right now. Probably in our bedroom, my bedroom with Monica. Probably rehearsing her testimony for tomorrow. Probably confident that her story will hold up. That I'll be painted as the villain. That she'll get support and keep the house and continue the plan. She doesn't know about Dr. Hendricks. Doesn't know Kayla has come forward. Doesn't know that the timeline doesn't match. That the lies are unraveling. That the evidence is overwhelming. Tomorrow she finds out. I should feel triumphant, vindicated, ready for battle. Instead, I feel sad. Sad for the marriage that never really existed. Sad for the future I imagined that was built on lies. Sad for the man I was who trusted so completely. But that sadness sits alongside something else, something harder and clearer. Determination. Tomorrow, the truth comes out. Not all of it that'll take months, but enough. Enough to stop Jessica's emergency motion. Enough to start unraveling the conspiracy. Enough to show that the quiet man they pushed into the garage has been paying attention all along. I set my alarm for 6 a.m. Court is at 2 p.m., but Amanda wants to meet at noon to prep. I need to be sharp, focused, ready. I need to be the man who documents everything, who builds cases, who fights back with evidence instead of emotion. I need to be the man I've become. Outside, rain starts to fall. That persistent Oregon rain that sounds like static, like white noise, like the background hum of a world that keeps turning regardless of personal catastrophes. I lie in the dark and listen to it, and somewhere between the rain and the silence and the weight of tomorrow, I finally fall asleep. Tomorrow changes everything. I'm ready.